and move them all. 1 for 1, the deal's done. Bobby Mack, let us know. Ryan Stromey lost it twice. Drake from Manning was not nice. 2 good picks, they went for Griff. Pete just had to go. Eric Greiber buyout, what was that all about? Miko signed a 3-year deal, and my friends, that ain't no steal. Traded for Spooner, shoulda canned him sooner. Chris Russell, Lucic, no movement on their deals. Pete left a tire fire. Bobby Nix is searching for the perfect person. Pete left a tire fire. Now it's tough to do well when you're stuck in cap hell.
6:06. Sorry for the brief delay. It was this little board right here that was causing issues, but we are good to go. Rick, what's up, my man?
When Matt Iwanek is on it, much like last night as well.
Last night, too.
Down at the Capilano Boston Pizza.
What a time, though. Oh, my goodness.
I don't fear, I don't fret. He figures it out quicker than any engineer in the past. The nasty chat, though, was... This is a good example of times when, because there will be moments like this, mornings, nights, afternoons, whatever. But that nasty chat kept on trucking. Strummy plugs in blender. Maddie, you're behind the mic now. Eric, you're going to be YouTube Trev guy. And Dusty, you get behind the board. That comes in from Woody.
Just switch it all up.
Switch it all up and see what happens, right?
Switch it all up right now.
Nasty chat was taking care of things, but...
May I take the first conch of the day?
Yes,
I'd like to dish out the first conch of the day for the Oilers season so far. Just almost like a tribute to what they've tried to get through.
A tribute. Okay.
Yeah, like not trying to put the season to bed, but you might as well after last night's game.
Yeah, I might call you on one too many conches there as opposed to one too many men.
I don't even know where to start, but the rant is on today. I mean, this is last night, and we'll get into. I want to lay out the show. Last night was just completely unacceptable. It was completely unacceptable from an NHL team to play the way that team did last night.
Especially on Frozen Frenzy night.
It was, of
all the nights.
On Frozen Frenzy night, you show up like that or not show up at all in the second half of that hockey. I mean, you could see the third period collapse coming. Watch the second period. The Wild should have scored 5 goals in the second period. Jack Campbell was absolutely incredible. Also, people trying to hang last night's loss on Jack Campbell. Are you kidding me? Jack Campbell was the only reason they didn't score 12 goals in that bloody hockey game. It was a one-timer party, and only the Minnesota Wild were invited. Like, it was ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. People are saying the old conch for the Oilers season. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
That actually is locked in to the heart rate of Evan Bouchard when he's playing defense. My God, man. Move. Do something. Play harder. It was we got a lot to get to. We got the Bouchard stuff we got to get to. We got to get to a grown-ass hockey team having 3 too many men penalties. We'll get to that at some point, obviously. Jay Woodcroft's failure to hold anybody accountable on this roster. We'll get into that as well. It was awful last night.
But you know what wasn't? The whimsical evening out at the Capilano Boston
was really
Pizza.
good, actually.
I had a really good time. Thanks for inviting me.
That was, I thought we had a really good time. Now, I don't know if everybody knows who was all there. Like, the whole, Twitter Mary, Big Uke was there, Nisbet was there, Norman at Combine was there, one of our new sponsors was there. It was great. I mean, it was, the Molson crew was there. We're giving away Heritage Classic swag. I looked through all of the Molson gear, and I was like, do you guys have a Heritage Classic thong, or are we still waiting for those to go over at Pro Am Sports? Actually, Jack emailed us yesterday. Jack Cookson emailed us yesterday with a link to our merch store saying, "Where's the thong?" So now it's going back and forth, which is fun. I mean, that's a lot of fun. So before we get in a full-blown rant, I mean, we'll quickly recap this, but this is a fun game to play. Somebody joined us last night, and one of his quotes during the game was, my heart has so much anger in it right now. All right. No, I have so much hate in my heart right now. Who in the world? Try to guess who that was. As the Oilers were falling apart in the third period, try to guess who was with us. And the quote was, my heart I have so much hate in my heart right now. Who do you think that was? Try to guess. We'll get to it as we work our way through the 6 o'clock hour. Very much a 6 o'clock hour type of thing to do. But I have so much hate in my heart right now. And it's not Tommy's mom. Tommy's mom last night was on a full-blown Bouchard rant. My goodness. You thought you were mad at Bouchard watching the game last night. You should have seen Tommy's sweet little mom.
And big winner Reno.
He Reno won a prize. He's living a good life. I think he left it with Paulie Gazzola. One of the banner he left with Paulie, so Paulie cashed in too last night. Some great prizes from Molson last night, actually. That was really fun. Yeah. By the way, post-game show last night was amazing. I mean, I think we have it's already over 2,000 views.
And a little treat at the end.
The stream, I guess it just kicked out or froze or something on the Boston Pizza side. And YouTube Trev came in full Garth Algar when Wayne walked away from Wayne's World and actually ended up nailing it. And he left us a note this morning.
That's
you look at YouTube Trev leaving notes.
Great penmanship.
Around the office. Actually, he does.
Very nice.
Very cool writing. YouTube Trev leaves us a note this morning. Said, had a lot of fun last night! ! Keep crushing it, boys! ! And have a great show! ! Cheers! Smiley face. Signed YouTube Trev.
It's beautiful.
Thanks, YouTube
beautiful
Trev.
Note, yeah.
Yeah, that's a real nice note.
Right back at you, all of what you said.
Now we've had 2 kids leave us notes here. My 6-year-old daughter, Elizabeth, is still kicking around over here, I think. What did her note say? I think I got it.
Yeah, that's right. That was kind of a well wishes.
Here's the Muzz. It says, have a great day, Eric, from Elizabeth. And she spelled great, Grate. Let's put the notes from our 2 kids right here.
That's my favorite great.
YouTube Trev. Yeah, YouTube Trev and my 6-year-old daughter, Elizabeth,
nice.
Leaving us notes around the studio. It's really nice. All right, so let me lay out the show for you. Then we'll get into we do have Woodcraft. We've got Woodcraft's post game. We're going to get to that during the morning after show. Now brought to you by, find out in just a few moments. He was there last night. It was great.
Loving it.
Yeah. He had the Thai chicken bites. And Tommy and the crew, we all got in that new pizza. Boston Pizza's dropping this new za. Three new types of pizza, like square pizzas, thicker pizzas. It was bloody delicious.
Is that Detroit style? Is that what it's kind of Detroit Boston pizza? I like the ring of that.
It was really good.
We were eating good last night, like kings.
Yeah, we were.
Those wings. The pizza, the meteor that we
was
had
good.
later
I told
on.
you that sausage was spicy, eh?
Oh my
Who made the right call on that? Who made the right call? Your boy. That's who made the right call. But anyway, those new Zaws at Boston Pizza don't drop until November 1st. We had a preview of it last night. The guinea pig's on it, and boy, guinea pig me all day. That was just delicious. So morning after show coming up. Obviously, more of your text reaction. Paris Jewelers inbox 78. I haven't even looked in there yet today.
Put on your hard hat.
I mean, talking about the AM Nasty today. That I checked it out last night when I got home, and obviously it was absolutely hopping.
Somebody guessing Rick Pinter on the
hurt
quote.
Was it Rick Pinter who said he had so much hate in his heart last night? No, this is a good guess. It's not a right guess, but a good guess. Marshall, my son Marshall. If he was there last night, he would have. No, somebody else. My heart has so much hate in it right now.
That does sound like a poetic.
Yeah, that does sound like something the Marshman would say. But no, it's not. But anyway, keep those guesses coming in. Who was with us last night that said I have so much hate in my heart right now? And we'll get to that. Your guesses to the Paris Jewelers inbox. If you need to cheer yourself or a significant other up after a 1-4-1 start to the season, why not do it with some bling from Paris Jewelers?
It's a great point. Yeah, the bling is still here, and the bling can bring happiness in these dark times, in these 1-4-1 times now that we have.
Cole in Ellerslie in the nasty chat. You couldn't even pay me to go to an Oilers game right now. What a waste of time. I think we could probably pay you to go to a game.
That's a strong statement.
Now imagine this. Imagine this scenario. I'm going to be doom and gloom guy right now. Especially if they lose on Thursday, but even if they win on Thursday. If they put in a piss-poor performance at the Heritage Classic and get booed out of Commonwealth, full-blown Edmonton Elks treatment. Like that would be and look, if they lose to the Calgary Flames, and even if they win, so if they win on Thursday, they go to 2-4-1. If they lose to the Flames in the Heritage Classic, they go to 2-5-1. They will be booed out of Commonwealth.
Why are we thinking? But this Rangers game tomorrow will be.
Oh yeah, I'm not expecting them to win that
this week
one.
Leading up to that, following the McDavid injury, you're kind of looking. You're saying, well, you kind of need this one in Minnesota just to like. This Rangers team ain't no slouch, obviously, and then here we go to Sunday in the Heritage Classic. Like,
I honestly, I wouldn't be surprised, and at that point, I couldn't blame you. Like, I won't be rolling in here the next day, if they end up losing to the Flames and telling everybody, you shouldn't have been booing them at Commonwealth. This is a group of men who are paid $80 million to go out and, I don't know, cover somebody in front of the net. Holy smokes, was that a mess last night. Whatever defensive system they've put in place, it's absolutely the worst thing of all time. And don't tell me, it's player mistakes here and there. No, that's because I don't think they're smart enough to figure out what you want them to play defensively. But we'll get into that. We'll dive in a little bit to Major League Baseball and a little bit of the NBA later on, maybe. It's going to be a heavy Oilers and hockey show today. Jamie McLennan pops by just after 7 o'clock today. The Coolbet hotline of the day. Mr. Lean. I got a text message into the end of Two Guys and a Goalie yesterday that just said, thank you, Mr. Lean, as the soccer game cash yesterday.
Yes.
The under in the Oilers Wild game, not so much. Coolbet hotline of the day. Yeah. And the NHL review committee screwed me out of a 4-man parlay yesterday.
Did they?
Which I still hit one, so the count was about tripled up last night, but still. Plus the Detroit, you wait till the lock shop today. Huss had a 9-gamer ruined by the Red Wings losing in overtime with 2 seconds left to the Kraken.
I was going to ask, how was your marathon day of the Terry Jones 16-game
Jonesy went 12-4.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, respectable.
Yeah, that's
certainly respectable.
Of course.
I only had to hit a 4-gamer to come out up 3 times as much as, but there was a few other ones that were really close last night, which could have turned it into just an absolutely amazing time. This text in, 780-218-9999. Ooh, I like this. How about a conch for listening live for the first time? That's in from Henny the Handyman. We got you, dude. Christopher Morris in the nasty chat. Is McAdoo running the Oilers defense? It kind of looks like it right now, doesn't it?
That's a pretty good one, yeah.
This is a team that went through the offseason saying, after the loss to Vegas, we got to cut back on the goals against. They're allowing over 4 goals against per game right now. It's an unmitigated disaster. How often do I use the term unmitigated? Technically, I don't even know what it means outside of putting it in front of a disaster.
This is like me using the clock last night at the bar for you two guys. I still can't get over that. Hey, look, 6 o'clock.
That was so cool.
But you don't get a lot of opportunities to use these terms and these actions. And
we executed that perfectly yesterday.
Yeah, just buzzing over
the
that.
old clock. Hey, Dusty, 3 o'clock. What?
Yeah. Oh. So you use your unmitigated disaster. This is the time to use it. You take it out for a walk. Yeah.
Everything's unmitigated today.
It's unmitigated.
What's this? This letter from YouTube Trev? Unmitigated.
Unmitigated.
Free advice for Damon Bunting, our local slumlord and water provider. If you're buying or selling, Damon Bunting is your guy. Look at all my beverages today.
You are going to be wet.
I've got my Damon Bunting Slumlord water. I've got my latte.
Of course.
Caffeine milk.
You can't go a morning without one.
Hey,
he needs his latte.
Caffeine milk.
It's one thing about Dusty. Yeah.
And then made by my beautiful wife, Tam. I think this was for me. I took it. Maybe it was for her. But anyway, I took it. I got a little smoothie action today, too.
Now, that's a fruit-based, or would it be a vegetable type of fibrous?
I never know. I don't think there's any spinach in there today, but I could be incorrect. But it's pretty good. I mean,
pretty good.
If I had to rank these, I'd probably go. Sorry, Tam, but I'd probably
it's not
go.
Bad,
I'd probably
you're taking the water. Wow.
Well, water's important for you.
Yeah, yes, but your latte, water over the latte. Hey,
I'm a health freak.
Interesting.
Anyway, Pat Gregoire is going to join us too today at 7:45. Matt Kramala, who usually joins us on Wednesdays, he had to move. He's going to be on a Thursday show, so save those intros for then. Kind of easy trivia, 3 questions. Man, how about this hour? Third hour of the show today. Kind of easy trivia for Mr. Mike's. 3 questions too many for Park Mazda. The weekly rankings of power for United Sport and Cycle. Greg Wyshynski for your convenience store for metal supermarkets, and then the wrap for William Huff. So, this show is absolutely jam-packed today. We got the morning after show coming up here right away as well. I mean, I guess we can get into it. I got so much ranting I want to do. I didn't even want to dive into the morning after show technically just yet, but I think we got to get there after the absolute train wreck last night for the Edmonton Oilers in the second half of that game.
I'm just glad we had the Capilano BPs for that one. You can still kind of, get back to the odd conversation or the bite of food or the delicious drink. Like just to just to kind of
it was funny after
parse the loss in the third period.
Every single goal that Bouchard caused or was in the area for, instantly the entire place would just yell Bouchard and start looking at everybody. I kept looking at Belzy and Gager, and they were just like, "Oh my god!" It was a mess. Luckily for today, we did find the old morning after show song.
Good,
and this is gonna hit today. This is gonna hit big time.
Being a fan of the Oilers today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to have your say? It's the morning after show where we will talk about the game and let you know who you should blame. You want a show where you will know if the problems are still the same. You want a show every morning after the game. You want a show so people know if the problems are still the same. You want a show every morning after the game.
Hey, Norm! In a combine.
Yes.
I actually dropped that last night when he came in. That was good to see. Alright, get in. How about this? We've got another sponsor hopping on board, which is really exciting. This is great. Us to EM Utility Locating.
You're gonna live with me now. Yeah, I'm gonna take care of you. Cause I love you. I love you, Chuck.
Yes, and we love you, EM Utility Locating, who have hopped on board as the sponsor of the morning after show. Actually, I believe sold the orange and blue breakfast yesterday too. So things are getting jammed up on the Nielson Show, which I absolutely love to see. So that not only are they sponsoring the morning after show, we're also adding something to the morning after show. And I was chatting about it with Matt from EM Utility yesterday, and we kind of like that underappreciated, safe player of the game type of situation, because that's what they do. They've got the ground penetrating radar now. They've got concrete scanning. I do think as a group of nasties, we have to come up with a Nielson Show kind of slogan for EM Utility Locating. You can visit them at emutilitylocating.com. Anytime you got any big project going that involves anything underground, they can look after and plan it out for you properly, plan it out for you safely, I should say. And I kind of feel like if you were in the business of locating dead bodies, with all the ground scanning equipment they have, they could probably do that for you. Like,
Yeah,
if you want to find out where the bodies are buried, visit our friends at EM Utility Locating.
Or like coins in doubloon along the beach. But
That too.
bodies too. I mean, whatever you...
I'm figuring that's how they probably got into it in the
Yeah.
first place. Like, they probably started scavenging for coins on
Bottle
Alberta
caps and
Beach, or
such, and-
what was the secret beach down on the river? And then they said, we should probably get into this. So I was thinking about it last night. We can take this for a run. So we've got our 4th star, we got our 38th star, and then I think we launch a steady Eddie of the evening.
A steady Eddie of the evening.
Just a steady Eddie of the evening, played the safe game.
The Stee.
The steady Eddie of the evening. So anyway, who was the steady Eddie last? I said to Matt before we left last night, I said, you know what? Tough day to launch a steady Eddie after everything that happened last night. But who do you think was the steady Eddie of the evening last night in this game? And we'll get to that. But let's start with the big moment that happened, buddy. What are you going? I mean, there was a lot of moments.
There were a lot of moments, and I'll go over a few here, and we can all pile on here as we do, be it 780-218-9999 or the nasty chat. I think let's start from the top. I mean, early on, lots of opportunity on the man advantage for the Oilers in that opening frame. Failing to really do anything with that.
Yeah.
You move on. A second period to which you and I looked at each other and said, Campbell is... I mean, this is great.
It was a period of the year for Jack Campbell.
But it felt like save after save after save. You're like, wow, the Oilers should be up like 4-5-2, and they're still only up 3-2. I mean, he was making the saves and denying Minnesota goals, but at the same time, the Oilers weren't really doing much either, but Fogle gets one in that frame. And then I guess looking to the third where the wheels ultimately fell off, what do you want to look at? The Eriksson goal? I mean, I know Kane drew one back 5-4, maybe the Hartman goal there, but either one of those wild goals to kind of seal it away. were kind of my latter moments. But I think heading back to the opening period and not doing anything with that man advantage, and we had questions with McDavid's absence. How would the power play look? Kane getting Kane. Now Kane got a goal. Goalie hat trick last night. I think for Vander Kane. So we'll hang a hat on that. But I just kind of, it was, you're on the road. You're looking for something, right? This team needs a bit of a jump start here. And I thought kind of, Minnesota gifted them some opportunities early on. Didn't really take too much of it. And yeah, you can say 3-2 in the second heading into the third, but you mentioned earlier on the show this morning that score really wasn't indicative of the play leading up to that point.
No, I mean, they should have been out of it by the end of the second period. They were absolutely atrocious in the second period. Jack Campbell kept them in the second period, kind of giving them a false hope of, hey, keep going in the third. Well, if you keep doing what you were doing in the third, that's exactly what was going to happen to you last night. I think my big moment that happened in that game last night, and we have to discuss holding players accountable, because Bouchard should not have been back on the ice after the fourth goal. But then you close it, you get a little bit closer after the Kane goal, and you're thinking, okay, like maybe there's a late goal to tie it here. And then an all-time bad pinch by who else? Of course, Bouchard. Just a bad night to end all bad nights. He was atrocious last night. And that was the one that really, really sealed it away. I mean, you could point to a lot of these Bouchard plays last night, but that was like, even on the one, I know somebody was like, I saw a few people last night on Twitter being like, well, Jack Campbell's rebound control, the one that was right in front of the net that Bouchard went to knock away. Yeah. I think Jack Campbell was reaching out with his stick to try to corral it back in, and Bouchard knocks it away, and the Wild hammer it right back in. It was an absolutely disastrous night. I mean, pick a Bouchard play if you want to get in on that level. Super stat of the night. What do you got for super stat of the night?
Well, and in an Oilers loss, I go usually to the not so super stats. The too many men penalties, count them up, 1, 2, 3. I mean that's right there.
How does that happen?
I'd give it. And I'm going to go to the man advantage again. I mean, I know you have that one power play marker by Kane later on in the game, but really early on, given how this game kind of unraveled, you had an opportunity to make some hay, I guess, in that opening frame. When you did have a sweet two-man advantage and throughout. So special teams, again, we identified perhaps that might be something with McDavid out, and it was last night. But, yeah, those 3 too many men really kind of stick out for me. Other than that, I mean, Bouchard mistakes, I guess. Is there a metric that we count for those?
The super stat of this game has to be the 3 too many men. I mean, there has to be analytical folks. Let us know. Track it down. I don't care if you have to go to Natural Stat Trick, NHL.com or whatever. When was the last time a professional hockey, I'm not talking NHL. When was the last time a professional hockey team? When was the last time a bantam hockey team?
Keep going.
Or U15 or whatever it is. I coach 9-year-olds. I don't think we would take 3 too many men penalties in a game. So that has to be your super stat of the night. That was absolutely, I mean, you can look at all these other things, but if you deny to yourself that the Oilers are a mess right now, they took 3 too many men penalties last night. They're a mess right now. 4th star of the game. 3 stars last night. I think you probably know where you go with the 4 star.
That line, though.
Hartman, Kaprizov, and Zuccarello. 5 points, 3 points. It's a 10-point night. You let Hartman put up 5 points on you last night. Holy smokes. Who's your 4th star of the game?
Fogle had 2 goals.
Yeah.
He's been working hard as of late. I mean, if you're looking for steady eddies or some sort of shimmering light out of all of this over the last little while, I would identify him. Again, Evander Kane with the Gordie Howe hat trick. We can't ignore that, but I mean, still not good enough on the night. Fogle 2 goals. That'll be my 4th.
I think it makes sense. 38th star of the game.
But I do have some time for Campbell, because if it wasn't for him, this thing would have gone to double digits.
Yeah.
I'm not. It's tough to give it to him in a 7-4 loss, but you know what I'm saying.
Could Campbell have made more saves in the game? Of course he could have. But should he have?
Yeah, I know.
Like, what about that goal when right on the bloody doorstep? Nuge is in no man's land. Nurse is in no man's land. And Cece is in no man's land. What's going on here?
After the second, though, you could have said, "Wow, this is maybe that game that the Oilers goalie somebody here." Perhaps. It was like,
after the second, but Jack Campbell would have needed to be that insanely brilliant in the next period as well, which is just completely unreasonable. 38th star of the game last night. Honorable mention to Nuge in the 38th star of the game. Not sure he's grasping the the new brilliant defensive system that they decided to go to this year. But it's Bouchard. The answer is Evan Bouchard. I don't know. I don't know what to say about this guy right now. Like, have some sense of urgency. Just the littlest sense of urgency in your game. There's none. The pinch, horrible idea. Also not really committed. It's a half-assed. Full blown. I love people in the nasty chat this morning. The nasty chat's obviously straight fire this morning.
Paragraphs upon paragraphs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's wild. But I like this one. Can EM Utility Locating find Evan Bouchard, please? Evan Bouchard is buried somewhere 4 feet underground, and they're going to use their concrete scanners to go and find it.
Good luck.
Like, it's just, there's a few of them, actually. This is EM Utility Locating, scanning for what's wrong with the Oilers defense. I like that one. If you have bodies in your basement, don't call EM Utility Locating. That could be a branch, like a branch off on this one.
Well, it's funny that this happens last night. Now we're calling in the pros. Like, this is a job.
I know.
This is they have the equipment that you can't afford nor have seen before, and they're going to get to the bottom of this. Hopefully, I don't even know if they can't though. Then we're doomed.
I'd ask Matt this question over there at EM Utility Locating, because I have been wondering about this. If I want to dig a massive hole right next to my driveway to put a basketball hoop in the ground, do I need to check on that? Or can I just dig a huge hole? Like, I feel like this is why EM Utility Locating exists. So idiots like me aren't just digging huge basketball holes in their right next to their driveway.
EM Utility Locating, giving you peace of mind for when you decide to dig a big hole to put a basketball net in.
That sounds nice.
You can put that on a
That sounds
shirt.
real nice.
A peace of mind. Why not give them a, hey.
Yeah.
Guys,
I'll give you a piece of my mind, but they'll give you a piece of your mind.
Sure.
The EM Utility Locating Steady Eddie of the evening last night. Kind of the guy who just flew under the radar and was maybe somewhat impactful in a relatively safe way, because EM Utility Locating is a safe place to make sure you don't hurt yourself. Can I go with Brett Kulak?
You could go. I think there
Brett
are some
Kulak
names.
finished even last night.
There's some names you can put in your hip pocket for the Steady Eddie.
Yeah.
And usually kind of like, yeah.
Brett Kulak is a huge EM Utility Locating Steady Eddie of the evening guy. So we're going to dish that out to Kulak. He played almost 16 minutes and came out of the game at even. By the way, NHL, on your stats page, please stop putting a plus next to the zero.
I prefer a minus next to the zero, to be honest with you.
I mean, there should be nothing next to the zero. You got a bunch of other zeros with no plus or minus beside it.
Kind of a weird.
Got to eliminate the plus zero.
My Steady Eddie will be Matthias Janmark.
He did block a shot.
One hit.
He did
3
block
shots
a
of
shot.
his own.
Got to do more in that spot, though, right?
Yep.
I think you got to do
Steady.
more in that spot, right? Oh, Steady Eddie for
Didn't
sure.
do anything bad.
Yeah. All right, let's just blow through this 6:30 sports update, because we got too much stuff. I got 9 things I still want to say about this game. 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. We do have Jay Woodcraft's post-game, courtesy Oilers TV. Let's take a listen to what Woody had to say after the game.
Those first 2 periods in a tough building, and how hard your team fought to get the lead after 40 minutes.
Yeah, well, I mean, I thought our players displayed some character and guts there through the first 40. Obviously, the third period, you give up that many amount of goals. It's far from ideal. Lots to clean up there, and I thought there were moments in the game that we could have handled better, and not just defensively, certainly defensively, but we had a 5-on-3 power play early where we could have converted at a better clip. That I felt that was an important juncture in the game. We're up 2-1 end of the first period. We win a face-off clean. We can execute a whole lot better in that situation as well. I thought our players, gave us what they had tonight, but in the end we had struggled to contain their big line in the third period there, and we were made to pay.
What did you think of Evander Kane with the Gordie-Howe hat-trick?
I thought it was good. Yeah, he's he competed his tail off tonight, and a big fight and important goal that everyone on our bench believed that we were going to tie that up. His game was good.
Jay, Jay, can you speak to the performance of Jack Campbell and the momentum that gave your team?
Yeah, I thought the second period for Jack might have been one of his best as an Edmonton Oiler. I made numerous big saves. In the end, as a team in the third period, we didn't display, what is we're about as a group. And I don't know if it was we ran out of gas. I don't know if it was just a lack of execution, but certainly not to our standard. And but for Jack, his second period was one of the best I've seen him have.
Jack was discussing first game without the captain, and he kind of felt like we did respond and we did have a good game to a certain extent. So he was kind of disappointed that the result isn't there to match. How would you kind of assess how you saw the team work together to try and, I wouldn't say replace, but live without the captain?
Well, I think the easiest thing to do is to go to negative. And I would say that I thought there was a lot of really good signs for our team. It's disappointing not to close the game out when we were up heading into the third period. That third period was far from our best, that's for certain. But there was a lot of good things that went on through 40 minutes. In the end, we didn't get the result. It's a results-driven business. We understand that. We're going to work to correct some things and get better tomorrow.
All right, so there you go. I don't know if I would agree that there were a lot of good things that happened in the first 40 minutes just because your goaltender had to stand on his head in the second period to keep you in that hockey game. But were good things that happened in this game. Evander Kane had another fight, got the Gordie Howe hat trick, and Warren Foegele. If you're looking for true positives from this season so far, the answer is Warren Foegele. And it's concerning on one side of it that guy ends up being the answer. But it's also great for Warren Foegele to have the start that he's had so far.
Vetchkin the Great also in the nasty chat. Bouch 1 goal closer to cashing that over.
Oh, we're cashing all the overs on Bouchard.
Yeah.
I just wish we could have got a line on his plus minus at some point. Joe Not Exotic is in to the Paris Jewelers inbox today, 780-218-9999. And he says, Woody sounds defeated.
Comments on his body language as well with the video component to that post game.
He did. I don't think there's a coach conversation here yet. It's 6 games into the bloody season. The guy has had one of the best winning percentages in the league since he took over. So we'll see how this plays out. But, he was probably defeated because a guy that they need to rely on the blue line can't play defense. And overall as a team, like I said right off the top of the show today, it was a one-timer party and only the Wild were invited last night. That second period, Minnesota Wild players wide open all over the offensive zone. Let's wrap up the morning show and then just continue with the rants and texts, obviously, all the way through the 6 o'clock hour here, leading into Jamie McLennan. I do like this one, though, wrapping it up here with our new sponsors on board for the morning after show, EM Utility Locating. If you're digging a hole like the Oilers, call EM Utility Locating.
It's right there.
That's in from H.E. Pennypacker. That might actually end up being your text of the day.
Strong.
Like, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good today. This text is in and says, Woodcraft is clueless.
Clueless is capitalized.
It's been a really interesting start to the year for Jay Woodcraft. He's come across as a coach that's very much panicking, while at the same time trying not to show panic. And as a head coach and the coaching staff, I don't know how you can say, played pretty good parts of that game when you took 3 too many men penalties. Like, that is absolutely atrocious. Atrocious. Unmitigated disaster.
You roll it up the line a bit. A few people commenting in the nasty chat that, Woodcraft handcuffed with a roster that Holland now has provided, and you can't make certain switches or changes or we talk about holding guys accountable. Roster size as it is, are you willing to go up that ladder a couple more runs?
They were roster players short last year.
Yep.
And they still had a really, really good team last year. So, look, we know the salary. Look, the salary cap had been screwed before Ken Holland got here. He had a window to unscrew it. He didn't unscrew it. They're still screwed when it comes to the salary cap. And, but you're icing a roster that 2.5 weeks ago we thought, this could win the Stanley Cup. Now what? It's maybe the thing that frustrated me the most about last night. And the 3 too many men penalties is just disgusting. I mean, that makes no sense. Bouchard having no pulse of energy in any way. Like the one goal where he's waiting for it coming around the boards, goes to take it. Just, I mean, have a sense of urgency for the moment. Be in the bloody moment. Like it bounces off his stick. He's watching, and it was an all-time bad game for Bouchard last night. You have 6 defensemen also dressed, right? They're forced to play 7 defensemen because they can't logistically fit a forward in because of the cap restraints that they have. Bouchard should have not seen the ice again. Like at some point, you need to hold somebody on the team accountable. When has anybody ever been held accountable? That's not how you breed a championship team in any sport. You had 6 defensemen. There are teams and there are coaches in the National Hockey League that would have sat Bouchard down even if they had 6 defensemen, and they would have rolled with 5D for the rest of the game. I don't know how you throw Bouchard back out there after that goal that he clearly should have had control of that puck. He didn't. Call it a lack of focus. Call it a lack of urgency. Call it whatever the hell you want. He shouldn't have seen the ice again. And I know he had an assist, had the shot from the point that made it a 1-goal game. But then what happened after that? Wasn't thinking straight. Decided to try a pinch on one of their seen people last night in the postgame show being like, this dude shouldn't play the next. Just say, hey, we're okay with your game so far. How can you possibly be okay with that game? It was Desharnais and Broberg may not be great, but they are nowhere near as lost defensively as Bouchard right now. Don't you think that would have been an opportunity to send a message and hold somebody on this team accountable for something?
I mean, if not then, when?
Somebody says in the Paris Jewelers inbox today, it says, hey, on the bright side, Bouchard's not working his way towards a huge contract.
Yeah. And Tube Socks loves how you just can't rattle the guy.
Like Bouchard? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like Bouchard, I don't know if this would be good for him or not, but like Bouchard should be a surgeon where like no matter what's happening, you're just cruising along at the same level and just getting that done.
Well, Joaquin Gage stopped by our table last night and said, this is kind of like a John Wick thing. Like, does he have a pet we could maybe hold for ransom and to kind of get the...
Gager came by and was just like, what do we do? And I said, we got to John Wick this guy.
Yeah.
We got to steal his car and kill his dog and then have him, all of a sudden, I don't know. Like, is it going to come at some point? Neil Garrity says, one of the problems with Bouchard is you want him out there if you need a goal. He helps get you one. The whole part of the solution is if you look here, but that's not holding people accountable. Like, you're down, and he helps you score goals. But if he's always rewarded with the offensive opportunities, even on nights when he's trashed defensively, that's not the type of culture I think you want to build. It's like, oh wow. Refuse to put a body on anybody in front of the net, but go out there and take shots from the point. It's just sit your ass down, and you're not playing again. I don't know, man. It's extremely frustrating. 780-218-9999.
Third period woes as well. I know 5 goals last night in that final frame, but now 10-1 in third periods this season for the Oilers, outscored. Any subscription to that theory of the third period or what's going on there? We talk about the defensive structure. I know we're talking about Bouchard as we should, but I mean, again, you had get a 3-2 nice lead. I know things were kind of collapsing and ultimately the wheels fell off, but really not bringing it for a final period at all, really, this season, right?
Maddie, can you try to bring up that goal? Can we do a look? Can you put it on the screen here? The one. Which one was it? The one right in front. The guy was wide open. Wide open in front goal. Which one was that?
The real bad thing here is you having to say which one was that.
Zuccarello. I think it was the Zuccarello goal. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was the Zuccarello goal. I just don't know. Like, what are you doing defensively? Like if you're the Oilers, like if you think they're a mess because of the three too many men, which they certainly were. The fact that, like, if you go look back at the first 4 goals at least last night, because I brought this up with Belsey and Gager at Boston Pizza last night. Like, people were just wide open in front of the net. Absolutely wide open in front of the net. No, it's not that one.
The Eriksson Ek?
No, it was the one right in front, the close tuck. The guy was wide open at the side of the goal. It was absolutely atrocious. This is the one. Yeah, that's the one. We got to bring that one because I don't know what they're doing defensively. Like nobody is doing their job defensively. It's now. With that being said, you can't like. I'm not sitting here saying fire Jay Woodcraft. I've seen a lot of people go, well, when's the seat get hot for the coach? I understand that's how fans in any market for any team operate. But what I am saying is that this coaching staff needs to do a hell of a lot better job, or these players need to somehow have the game simplified to a level where, I mean, you cover guys defensively. We have, yeah, like what is going on this goal? Play this goal. Watch this. Like there's 3 guys right in front of the net. Nuge leaves his guy, goes up high. Nurse is just standing there. Like they look like they're penalty killing. This is this zone defense that they're talking about. We'll go back. I want to see, keep it rolling because it'll show the other view. And it looks like they're trying to penalty kill. Like what's Nurse? Go get this guy. Nurse is standing there in his zone. Nobody's down low. Nuge was behind the net, decided to leave his guy, come all the way back up top, and then circle back down. I saw some people blame Jack Campbell for this one. How are you blaming Jack Campbell for this one? I guess maybe a little quick poke check or something. But go wind it back to the very first look, like the wide shot, and just let it run. And then let's just look where they all like. Tell me they're not looking like they're killing a penalty right here. They just look like they're killing a penalty. Nobody's picking up anybody. This is this new defensive system they're running. The guy who made the pass had no pressure. He had all the time in the world. And then CeCe or Nuge, pick whoever you want. I think it was Nuge I know it was Nuge who left his guy. I don't know if it was, so Nuge must have left his guy to get back to the zone that he's supposed to cover. And then it left wide open at the side of the goal. Like that is absolutely, yeah, like you don't see teams play defense like this in junior hockey or lower levels. It's just, they're all standing around watching it. I don't know, man. Maybe it is. Maybe I know. What are we? No, we say 6 games now. It's 6 games. I still want to say it's just 6 games, but I feel ridiculous saying it's just 6 games when you see the team play the way that they did last night.
Yeah, we are like just about a month away from American Thanksgiving. That's the marker.
780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Boys, at what point does Woody abandon the new defensive system? Like they look worse defensively this year than they did last year. And if they weren't happy and think that the way they play defense cost them the Vegas series and they decide to switch to this, I mean, is it professional hockey players unable to grasp a system in 2 weeks? And they need 2 more weeks, and then eventually it clicks, and it's awesome.
That must
be what they're thinking. I would think a wise decision might be to cover the other team's players when they're in your zone. Right? That's got to be a simple solution to all of this, doesn't it?
Yeah, start.
Like, Dallas Aikens is watching them play defense right now and shaking his head. That's how bad it is. We're going to get into it with Jamie McLennan. 780-218-9999. The inbox today is taking a good old-fashioned pounding, and the nasty chat is just straight up rolling today. Few other things. Well, let's hit on a couple other things. We still want your guesses on who do you think was with us last night that had the quote, "I have so much hate in my heart right now." No, I don't think anybody's guessed correctly yet. 780-218-9999 or in the nasty chat. We had a great crew out there last night. And one of our guys rolled in full of fire and anger and did drop at one point. I have so much hate in my heart right now. He cannot handle watching this team. The answer is not YouTube Trev. Poor YouTube Trev was back here by himself probably. I'm surprised we didn't come in today and there's holes in the wall here.
Well, he texted our group chat, F this.
Yeah, just F this. And he didn't even use the F word.
No.
He actually texted the group chat and said, EFF this, which is really cute. That's a cute thing. There's somebody's got it.
I know when he threw out that language though that it was a tough night for him. Like that's when you bring out that type of language.
When
in the group
Trev
chat.
says EFF this,
Ooh,
you know things are taking a turn for the worse.
That blood pressure is going up.
No, it was our boy Hernan Salas. Hernan is as passionate as they come. It was good to get a dose of Hernan last night.
He got into the red.
He was into the red. He had a beer and then he must have had 3 glasses of red wine.
Good for him.
And he had having another one late. I could tell, I think Hernan wanted us to stay all night. Like, Hernan would have probably put in a shift. Elk season's over. Hernan can kind of have some free time now. So I think he really kind of wanted to. Well, he kind of got into one last night. But we had to work this morning, obviously. But poor Hernan sitting there, and God love that man. I miss him so much. He's sitting there, and he so badly wanted to hop on a post and just rip people, like just lose his. He was all over Bouchard. Like Hernan and Tommy's mom should have gone and sat at a table last night and just vented to each other, right? Shouldn't they? Like that would have
couple lapel.
That probably would have helped them. Like that probably would have helped them. Yeah, but Hernan at one point is sitting at the table. Me, Maddie, I think Paulie Gazzola was kicking around. And Hernan goes, I just have so much hate in my heart right now. And I think a lot of people probably feel that same way with how it's gone. Nacho Man in the nasty chat today. Was it Will Fraser who had so much hate in his heart? Probably got in his car, turned on his headlights, and drove home at a safe speed.
Fraser is fine. He'll be fine.
You know who Fraser is a big proponent of? EM utility locating, right? Why would you dig a hole without having the ground underneath scanned first? Anyway, we miss Nancil. Yeah, this text is in. It says Hernan is an absolute beauty.
He'll be hanging out again in no time, I think.
He'll be on the. I think we're working on next week for Hernan to be on the hangout. Actually, so he'll be ready for that. He put it on us yesterday when we left. When I was like, all right, Nance, we'll talk to you later, buddy. Good seeing you, man. Don't worry. It'll be okay. And he goes, Dusty, you better rip these guys tomorrow morning. His inability to rip them because he works for a professional club is really killing him right now, where he wants us to just tear a strip. I think we've had a pretty good discussion about this hockey game so far today, though. 780-218-9999 or in the nasty chat. Quickly, let's say we're going to dive right back into it here. We got Coolbet hotline today. Pat, Greg, we're coming up. Free advice. Jamie McLennan on how do you fix the Edmonton Oilers. Noodles is going to pop by in about 5 to 10 minutes. How about the Arizona Diamondbacks? Let's flip over to Arizona Diamondbacks were the last team into the dance. Also, I like referring to playoffs as the dance. I don't know. It's just, I know there's all these different cliches in sport, but I just love saying, oh, they're in the dance.
Oh, it's the country
now
music
they're
angle
dancing
to it as well.
Maybe that's what it is.
The dance, right? Like you.
Yeah. We haven't done that one yet on the Achy Breaky
not
podcast,
yet.
but watch for it at some point. What a run. And to go on the road to where they did to take 2 from the Phillies, that's pretty incredible.
They won the game Friday at home, which I don't know if you want to call it home when there were so many Phillies fans down in Arizona anyways. You lose that one, then you're going there, and it's like, well, I mean, you're going to Philly where you've had a 50-50 split in your home ballpark.
Yeah.
Most teams, I mean, I don't know. But they said, too, and the manager said, we're not flying across the country to get our asses kicked.
Great attitude.
Chris Mad Dog Russo said he would retire from radio I don't know if you saw that going
You were
down.
telling me about it last night.
Hilarious. And so now, like, this whole thing, it's a great story. And again, in baseball, I think us two up here where we are, I'm always cheering for the plucky underdog, whether it's the Texas Rangers or, I mean, my Mariners, something like that. And I think this Diamondbacks story is just great. Go Snakes. I'm all for it. Friday, Arlington, Texas, and Arizona. Let's go.
Diamondbacks couldn't be where they are without the horrible management group of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Well, yeah, I guess that's
very much helped along the way.
And for the Phillies, too. I mean, I
was pulling for the Phillies, but I don't care about the Diamondbacks either way.
Like, there's a lot of hate in people's hearts for the Phillies for some reason, too. And I think the city of Philadelphia, everybody likes to see them pick up an L once in a while. So entertaining series, love how it ended and the drama that goes along with it, and the Arizona Diamondbacks into the World Series.
A lovely little lady last night. I think she was one of the managers of the lounge at Boston Pizza. The Diamondbacks won, and she gave out like a little woo and like a double fist pump, and like she caught my attention. I was watching on a different TV, and I heard woo, and I turned around, and she's kind of like giving this little shimmy shake, and I looked and I said, "Huge Diamondbacks fan?" And she goes, "Anybody but Harper."
Yeah, that's what I'm
said,
saying.
wow.
Yeah, there's a hate.
Wow, you really hate Bryce Harper.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was
Dan Marino.
That was quite.
And Bryce Harper.
Yeah, I turned to her and I said, "Huh, real sports nut, huh?" And then the NBA season launched last night.
How about that, guys?
I did watch a good chunk of the Lakers game until they put on the World Series on that TV last night. That was the only buzzkill. Is they moved up? No, I mean I can't. I'm not the World Series, but the NLCS Game 7. I'm not gonna. Can't complain about it. But at that point, I mean the Lakers were just sort of hanging around. Jokic is a freak, man. He should have won MVP last year. There's a really good chance he'd take it this year. That'd be 4 in a row, which would just be nuts. But I actually liked what I saw from the Lakers last night. They had a little bit of more. You could tell already that they've got more depth than they had last year. They're going to be a good basketball team. And then what was it? Booker. I think Booker in the nightcap ended up being a difference maker for the Suns last night. I think he dropped 32 on the
6 boards, 8 assists.
Yeah, like nice night there. So the association's back up and running. How about a conch for everybody getting in this morning? This nasty chat and the text line have just both been absolutely slammed so far. A conch to all of you this morning for being here with us at EdmontonSportsTalk.com. The only thing that can save this Oilers season is a chin strap. Fans better tighten their chin straps. The Oilers are in for a bumpy ride this season, it seems. I wasn't sure if he meant somebody on the team needs to grow out a chin strap ahead of, obviously, Chin Strap Appreciation Month, Charch, which is a few months away.
Yeah, simple as that, hey? All the forensic auditing, it's just a couple of chin straps on the team, and away you go.
Neil Garrity in the nasty chat. Bouchard to the third pairing, but still gets PP. Broberg to the second pairing with Ekholm. Shelter him until he gets better. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do with Bouchard right now. I'll ask Jamie McLennan that when he slides in. Mega Bird in the nasty chat says, "Hey guys, I went 14 for 16 on my parlay last night. Damn Penguins and Oilers." That's at least it was 2. Imagine if you also hit the Penguins game and the only thing you needed was the Oilers, and they came out in the third period looking like they put money on the Wild in that game.
Terry Jones picked the Wild. He got it right.
Yeah, Terry Jones did pick the
got
Wild.
It right.
So did Huss.
Yeah.
Huss had it. Ride with Huss hit again last night. Lock Shop just delivering winners. Northside Sandwich. Maybe the Edmonton Oilers are just sandbagging so other teams start to take it easier on them later in the season. Interesting strategy.
Now we're talking.
Interesting strategy. Other teams are looking at that tape going, wow, look at this. They don't cover anybody in their own end. Then all of a sudden, by American Thanksgiving, they're covering people defensively, and the league doesn't know what hit them. Maybe that's the angle to take on this. But we've got a lot to continue to dissect, and we will do it. This was a real fun 6 o'clock hour. Thank you very much for being here with us. Let's get to a sports rewind with Lieutenant Eric, Jamie McLennan for Pro-Am Sports on the way as well. Do not go anywhere.
Ryan Hartman with a hat trick as the Wild beat up on the Oilers 7-4 down in Minnesota. Oilers return home to host the Rangers tomorrow night. Other action last night saw the Rangers besting the Flames 3-1. Austin Matthews, his 7th of the campaign, Leafs over the Caps 4-1. Canucks edge out the Preds on the road 3-2. Kings doubling up Arizona 6-3. Vegas, they stay golden 3-2 over Philly. Avalanche also remain perfect. They pick up a 7-4 road win over the Islanders. The Arizona Diamondbacks returning to the World Series after a 22-year absence. They double up the Phillies 4-2, taking the NLCS in 7. Game 1 of the World Series against the Rangers goes Friday down in Arlington. Over to the NBA, where defending champion Nuggets knock off the Lakers 119-107. Suns over the Warriors 108-104. 12 games around the association tonight. Sports Update brought to you by Universal Rewind, reminding you that regular motor maintenance will prevent costly downtime. Contact them today to learn more about their motor maintenance services. Choose experience, expertise, and quality. Choose Universal Rewind.
The Nielson Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
Like, oh, data muncher? Nom, 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 nom. That's right.
.702 on the Nielson Show. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for being with us. I know the boys were giving me some heat last night. I mean, as much as you want to put this on Bouchard, how about me? I was kind of hosting a little bit of Boston Pizza. We were just doing some draws. Our friends at Molson there popped by and had a bunch of cool swag, some Heritage Classic stuff, and so we gave that away. And at the end of the second intermission, as I was giving away the final prize, I did say, we'll have the post-game show live here in the lounge and at EdmontonSportsTalk.com as soon as the Oilers finish wrapping up this win.
Huh. You were doing the wave. You might as well have been doing the wave.
As Big Uke did say there, he goes, Dusty, that's basically a verbal wave.
Yeah.
And then somebody else last night, because I know the boys were calling it out on the post-game show last night. If you haven't checked out our Oil Stream pre- and post-game show, we're very proud to be the only all-sports station in the city that actually has an Oilers pre- and post-game show. And the boys last night were pointing it out, and I was taking some heat. Although somebody said that Mr. Michaels said something similar right when the puck dropped in the third period. And then the Wild scored 40 seconds later, and it was a disaster at that point. But
can't be doing this right now. We all got to just collectively shut up.
Yeah, I guess. I guess, especially after I did, as I was watching that second period, part of me was thinking live bet the Wild right now because they were dominating.
Yeah.
It was great scoring chance after great scoring chance. Campbell made a couple of unreal saves last night. I'm very torn on the whole conversation about, like, their goals against average suck again. It's over 4. I mean, right now they look worse defensively than they did last year. But I still feel comfortable saying that I like the way Jack Campbell's played this year.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense, does it?
Well, look at the goals for, like, it's none of the ones that are going through the glove and, looking at his equipment or whatever it was from last season. This is the structure. That's what it's about.
Maddie, I think Noodles is there. I think he's ready to roll. We're going to get Jamie McLennan in here right away. Let's just take a look at goals against. Worst two teams in the league in goals against right now. The Carolina Hurricanes, if you can believe it. They're allowing 4.71 goals per game. The Edmonton Oilers are allowing 4.5 goals per game. You aren't winning anything with a number like that. Extremely frustrating, I think, for a lot of you Oilers fans right now.
Minus 10 differential. I think third worst in the league.
What a night. Jack from Pro-Am says, at what point will Edmonton Sports Talk take some ownership of this situation? Oh, boy. The Oilers are undefeated when you hold a client mixer. Get off your damn wallet, go buy some broccoli, and invite the clients back together on Thursday night. Signed, a concerned advertiser.
We've set the bar.
Yeah, I guess we have. The only time the Oilers have won this year is when all of our clients were here watching with us on a moderately sized television. It's unbelievable. Jamie McLennan is brought to you by Pro-Am Sports. Visit them at proamsports.ca, your go-to source for the new Oilers Heritage Classic gear, from jerseys to hats and everything in between, with the exception of those thongs we've been looking for. They've got you covered. Visit them in-store on Sandberg Trail, 1 block north of Yellowhead, or online at proamsports.ca. Jamie McLennan, it's a full-blown panic in the city of Edmonton today, buddy. Please talk this city off the ledge.
Tough to do in watching that nonsense last night, I'll be honest. Where do you start? I think everybody had a little piece of that ownership of that loss last night, and really to the start, including the coaching staff, who kept putting number 2 on the ice at the end of the game.
Thank you.
At some point, there has to be some accountability within that room. And that's the disappointing part, is every time I turned around, that guy was on the ice and he was making poor decisions. Yes, offensively, got it done. And listen, I'm not here to kick Evan Bouchard in the nuts. There's enough people that want to do that to this whole team. But when you're looking at it, I watched that second period alone. Let's just throw out the third period. The second period was embarrassing dog park defense in their own zone.
Yep.
To the point where Jack Campbell's making big save after big save. Oh, just one-timer from the slot. There's a backdoor play. There's a ridiculous 2-on-1 save. You're going, what is going on here? And at some point on the bench, somebody's got to stand up and go, what the hell are we doing out here? And, I'm not going to take away. I thought Evander Kane had a really nice performance. I thought there was a couple individual nice performances, but overall, that's losers hockey right there. When you score 4, you should win a game. Before I came on, you were telling the stats. Well, when you're giving up 4.5, you're not going to win those games. And when your goal differential is -10, it's terrible, especially with the talent on that team. But if I had to circle a couple guys, definitely it was Bouchard on the back end. I don't know what's happened to Cody Ceci. He was a guy who I think had a stable game last year. This year, he just doesn't look like himself, and late on plays. RNH, we all love him, but he plays at 1 gear. He plays in 4th gear. He doesn't play in 1st or 2nd, and he doesn't certainly play in 5th gear. But it's 4th gear. It's around it, but it's not around it. Like, to me, there's just enough culpability to go around, but they've got to find a way to fix it in a hurry.
I'm glad you brought up the accountability thing with Bouchard, because I was losing it last night when we were watching the game. I said he should not play again. Like, he's been on the ice, heavily involved in pretty much every goal against. And then he had the assist on the Kane redirect. And I tweeted out again. I said, this does not change my opinion. Like, he should still not be out there. And then he got caught on the pinch. Like, as a coaching staff, and it's not like Bouchard is Ekholm and has played 1,000 games in the National Hockey League. This is clearly a guy who still has significant warts in his game, especially this year. You had 6 other defensemen dressed last night anyway. You could have sat him down and still rode 6 guys if you wanted to. So, I mean, if you're not going to hold somebody accountable in that situation, Noodles, should we ever expect it to happen?
Well, you hope that it does. And you hope, and I've had this debate with coaches, especially being behind the curtain sometimes, and especially when I was on a coaching staff in Calgary. You wrestle with yourself going, yes, that guy's hurting us, but in your mind, they're going, we need him to get back into the game as well, offensively. So that is it's the chicken or the egg. But some nights where you're like, man, we'll just take our chances with the other guys. You're right. You're dressed 7. Desharnais is he's hanging on by a thread. I think he's behind in the play. I know he's a physical guy. He is your 7 clear cut. And I think he struggles on most nights, but he's a guy who at least gives you what he's got out there. Kulak, I've been a little bit disappointed in his overall play, but he's an NHL player and he knows how to play.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. Like, you're right. You take your chances on guys who go, okay, we know we're not playing well. Let's play a more smarter game. And that's, if you look at it, that's the one thing that comes to mind when I look at this group is, the hockey IQ of some of them are off the charts, smart, and some of them are off the charts dumb. And what concerns me is the smart guys have to be able to bring the the guys who don't have the hockey IQ kind of into that medium, and they haven't been able to do that. And, there's just poor decisions, poor play. And it's almost like they put the jerseys on and go out and say, hey, let's go play hockey. And there's no structure to them, no urgency. I mean, you give up that goal early in the third period. You're like, let's get this going here. Let's figure this out. Instead, it's casual play. Oh, we'll get in this. And it gets away from you. And, Minnesota deserves credit because they picked them apart and they did exactly what they needed to do win that game last night.
I mean, the majority of the goals for Minnesota last night, their guys were wide open or had an Oiler just standing next to them and not picking them up right in front of the net. There was the one goal, the nice tuck at the side of the net where Nurse was watching the guy with the puck on the boards. We showed it on the show earlier. It looked like they were trying to kill a penalty, even though they had 5 guys on the ice. Everybody's kind of just standing around. And nobody was picked up. So we had a lot of people being like, Dusty, I know they went to a zone from a man defensive system, but I mean, do you eventually just blow that up and go back to what you had last year, even though last year it wasn't great? Like, what are you supposed to do?
Well, zone defense, is not just 5 guys standing in the zone going, hey, let's take care. Let's try and force everything outside. Zone defense has structure to it. And to me, what they're doing is going back and standing there going, hey, this is my spot. Like it's almost, again, I come back to, Timbit hockey, where when you're laying things out on the ice going, this is where this D needs to be. This is where this forward on the strong side needs to be to support the play. And then they're just standing there. The game's too fast. You have to react and you can't think out there. The minute you start thinking, you're in trouble. You're dead. It's death. So they've got to find a way. And I know, when you're trying the box plus one in a zone defense, like it takes time to learn it. But I would much rather going down with an effort where it's like, hey, we made a mistake, but we are going through the wall here. Not trying to be cool guy and casual, making it look good. And to me, there's a difference in that. If I'm Jay Woodcraft, like his head almost blew off his body 2 games ago.
Yeah.
I don't know how it would have been last night. But he had this look, and we on our show, we always joke. It's called Scrabble face. Is when you have this look on your face where you've got a bunch of letters in front of them, and they're not even letters from the alphabet. You're just trying to figure out to put a word together. Jay Woodcraft had Scrabble face last night because he's like, I don't know what I can do to put a combination on the ice that'll keep the puck out of our net. And I think it's a lazy narrative to go, yeah, the Oilers need a goaltender. You know what they need? Some damn structure to their game and some urgency to play it.
Well, and Jamie, this will lead into this. You've played on a variety of NHL clubs in the past, a variety of different head coaches. You want to walk us through what happens when you're getting 3 too many men penalties during the game? We're talking about structure. We're talking about responsibility. Where does this pop up, and how are you kind of working through this? I mean, have you experienced anything like this in the past?
Not a triple.
Yeah.
One, maybe
score.
Twice, but 3 is that's unheard of. And there again, that's coaching staff communication, and that's players not being sharp on the bench going, I'm the next guy up. Or if I'm coming to the bench, I'm not going to touch that puck because, hey, it's a chance for me to go and get an opportunity. Like, to me, the players ultimately are the guys who get on the ice and have to own that. But there has to be a semblance of communication and clearness on the bench. It's like, I've got this guy. You might have to go back to the Timbit hockey. It's like, okay, if you're the left D, you're taking off that guy.
Yeah.
And if he comes off the ice, you get on that when he comes off the ice. Like it just, the game is fast. And I'm being facetious. I'm kind of joking with this, but I'm not joking in the way where this literally has to be broken down to ground zero. I don't know where they're at right now. If this is rock bottom, you hope that this is the last thing and then they go up from there. But the details are what frustrates me watching them. Is you can lose to a team that, has a good night, a goaltender that stands on his head. We've seen that a couple times. I thought Hellebuck was brilliant the other night in Edmonton. I thought Casey DeSmith on the second night was really good. Okay, so you lose to a goaltender, that happens. It's going to happen throughout 82 games. But if you're losing because of systematic play, lack of urgency at critical areas, and then boneheaded too many men penalties, like that stuff, that's between the ears. And a lot of that comes back to, again, to accountability. So I think the coaching staff's going to have a sit down with some of these guys. And I would hate to be going through the video session, because if I was them, I'd just show them the second period and go, what the hell were you doing? You're lucky that it wasn't 7-2 after the second period.
Yeah, we said that this morning right off the top of the show. I mean, the full-blown collapse came in the third, but if you didn't see that coming in the second, you weren't watching the game close enough, because I mentioned it was a one-time party, and only the Wild were invited. I mean, they were wide open in the zone the entire time. It's kind of just back to Bouchard, because part of me uses him as an example for where the whole group's at right now. We've mentioned 9 times today this sense of urgency. How do you get a sense of urgency into a guy's game where it looks like he just doesn't naturally have it? Because, I mean, basically all of the plays last night, it kind of half-assed, and it came back to bite him in the butt.
Sometimes, and I will say this respectfully too, because I understand and have played with players like that. Their best attribute when things are going great is their calmness, is the ability to make a play in tight spaces. When Bouchard is at the top of his game, his calmness is actually part of what makes him a great player. But when he's not at the top of his game, the calmness, it works against him, because we all look at him and go, why the hell are you not trying? So it's, I would argue, and not even argue. I know the kid's trying. I really do. And this is a microcosm of the team. But the only thing you can take from players today as far as accountability is ice time. There's nothing else. You can't take money from them. Yeah. A lot of them are making money. It's generational money, all of that. The casualness, some guys have it, some guys don't. But the only hammer a coach has nowadays is ice time. And you want to play? Here. We saw Evander Kane 2 games ago, not happy with his ice time. He actually voiced it. And I like Jay Woodcraft's response, saying, this is a competitive player. It hasn't gone in for him, but he's going to continue to push. And I don't see this as counterproductive. Well, if Evan Bouchard misses 2 or 3 cycles in the shift process, it gets people's attention going, and all it is the defensive coach going, I need more from you. We need more. Or in between periods, you take one instance, and they always have these iPads on the bench. Every player knows when they screwed up, so you don't need to see it again on the iPad. But if I'm the defensive coach, is that Charlie Manson? Is Dave Manson?
Manson, yeah, Manson, yeah.
Yeah. So Dave Manson can pull him aside after the first or second and go, hey, this is what we're seeing here. We need some more urgency. We need you to be decisive. That pinch on goal number 6 was nonsense.
Yeah.
It just and yes, it wasn't a great goal. Everyone can circle that and say, Jack Campbell went through the body, it was a redirect, all of that. That's the only goal I was watching that was, a little bit suspect.
Yeah, he was hung out to dry on the other ones, man.
Literally hung out to dry.
Yeah.
So you're watching. So to me, there's teaching moments in this, but there's also accountability going, we're done teaching. You got to watch and show us that you need and deserve to be out there.
Noodles, before we let you go, on a scale of 1 to 10, I mean, it is still 6 games. On a scale of 1 to 10, how worried do you think Oilers fans should be about this team not being the team that they hoped it would be?
5 right now.
Okay, lukewarmish, right?
I'm lukewarmish. I look at the group, and by all accounts, you're hearing that Connor is closer to playing than not closer. So that's a good thing. That injury doesn't sound like it was going to be detrimental for months type of thing. But knowing what they're capable of, it's easy to go, hey, you know what? We've got down the middle of the ice, if you had it laid out nicely, if RNH was your third line center who had 100 points last year, that was a career year for him. So not everyone's going to have a career season. Zach Hyman may not have a career season, but you expect them to play even to their average capability. I'm a 5 still. I know on our show, we call it the underpants meter, where it's, if you have a white pair of underpants and 50 is soiled. Yeah. I mean, I'm 25. I'm a 25, really, because you're halfway there. thinking, are they going to be able to get it on track? But there's too many factors right now, because you can't just circle one thing and go, oh, they need a goaltender. Oh, well, they need a defenseman who actually can play stable, because I think Ekholm's still getting up to speed. I'm not laying that at his feet. They need forwards with push and depth scoring. Yes, Warren Fogle has looked really nice lately, but you need more. Derek Ryan was a guy who was really threatening sometimes last year, farther down in the lineup. And their power play, for me, even when Connor was there, still wasn't very sharp. I didn't love it. I think teams are really preparing for it. So, I'm 5 out of 10 or 25 out of 50 on the underpants meter, just based on, worry for this team. But again, it is 6 games, but they got to get their heads out of their asses, because, the Rangers are a hell of a team and Calgary's pissed too. So that game on Sunday is, they're both teams aren't happy with the way they're at right now.
People are wondering this morning if you're purposely trolling us with the Minnesota Wild jersey in the background today. Is that something you meant to do? Or
I apologize, guys. I could turn it this way to my Calgary Flames. There's my Florida Panthers one, if you'd like.
Yeah.
Or we'll take it. I can go this direction. I can go there, New York Islanders, and then there's the fisherman jersey that they gave me. So I don't know. I mean, I just happen to be sitting in an area here. I'll pivot, and that way we can get into the other way. St. Louis Blues.
No, we're good. That's it for us, Jamie. As always, buddy, really appreciate it. Thanks a lot, man. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
There you go. That's Jamie McLennan, Noodles popping by. Isn't he the best? Like, Noodles is the best. God, I love that
Basically,
guy.
Gopher holing it here, hey?
Yeah.
That's kind of what he's summing it up, the 25%.
And you know what? It looks like he might have got some of those frames done at Pro-Am Sports, where you can get your framing done as well. And obviously, a pretty good look on those frames. Visit them at proamsports.ca. All right, so Noodles, he said he's at a 5 out of 10. As far as legitimate level of worry,
25% on the
25% on the underpants scale, which is a funny thing. We're going to get into our Coolbet hotline of the day here. We got free advice coming up. What do you need help with? Free advice for Damon Bunting, local slumlord creator. We'll get into that here. So let us know, 780-218-9999. What do you need help with from a free advice perspective? We'd love to provide that for you today. And then Pat Gregor is going to pop by a little bit later on. But on a scale of 1 to 10, I know many of you, we see the reaction this morning in the text line of Paris Jewelers and in the nasty chat. I know many of you are very worried. Like, a lot of Oilers fans probably put this at like an 8 or 10. Like, because it all depends on what you're comparing things to. Like, are you worried about this team being a legitimate Stanley Cup contender? Well, then you're probably at an 8 or 9. If you're worried about this team being a playoff team, well, then you're probably like a 3 right now. But on a scale of 1 to 10 of what you personally expected from the Edmonton Oilers this year, how worried are you right now about that? Is it a 5? Is it a 7? Is it a 10? Lieutenant Eric, I boldly claimed in middle of September that they were going to win the Stanley Cup.
Oh, we're all, yeah.
And I'll say right now, I mean, my level of worry on my Stanley Cup prediction not coming to fruition, I'm at like a 6.
Yeah.
I'm at like a 6.5-ish.
I see your 6. I raise you a 7.
Whoa.
And I go there because I think
this guy.
I think as Noodle said too, if you're looking at this thing and this whole collective thing, and we can identify, an issue, like one, and this is it, and it's night after night, and it's then it may be a 5. I mean, even as people are pointing out, I mean, you've capped up. You can't really fix things on the fly here. So if it was an issue like that, it's a 5. It's an issue. You maybe can't fix it in the moment. This is a variety of issues, and when we're talking about individuals such as Bouchard, one night or most nights, and forwards maybe being invisible, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins for an example last night, I mean, that's one thing. Then you're going to collective structure. That's another thing. We're going to the power play, not clicking at its universal best. McDavid injured. Shall I go on here, right? We can kind of talk about, the too many men. I mean, the coaching. There are a lot of things going on right now, and I don't know which one you kind of, I mean, as people say, you start at the beginning. I don't know what you kind of start at, and maybe it is sitting Bouchard, sending a message. As Noodles said, that is the currency you can use is ice time. But as somebody in the nasty chat pointed out as well, when you're running the roster you have, I don't know if you can be using that hammer too often, right? Before it's
I know.
Like, so what do you do, and where do you go from here? And that's why I'm at a 7, because there are a lot of issues there are a lot of pots kind of boiling over right now, and I'm not sure how you kind of rank them on which ones to start turning off first. But maybe there's like a rankings segment we could have, like a where you compile a bunch of issues and then you rank them in terms of points.
And maybe we could get United Sport and Cycle to sponsor.
Hey,
that.
that's an idea.
That's a great idea. You know what?
Great idea.
How about we create it and we do it at 8:20 today?
So I'm doing 7, but somebody else texting it at an 8. So
yeah, it says 8.
us
No
know
one
if
wants to
you're-
play. In the nasty chat, GSB says 6.9. Travis says 9.7.
Well,
Jacob P says I'm at a 5. Ontario Mome says 9. They were supposed to have 2 weeks of captain skates and then hit the ground running. Tube Socks, I like the positive spin from Tube Socks here. The Oilers are only 3 points out of a wild card spot. So that's totally what we wanted to say 6 games in. Man, great discussion with Hernan and Maddie last night. Oh, I forgot about this. We're sitting there. It was later in the night. This is Nanso had been into the wine and he was furious. He had so much hate in his heart. And he was, I don't know, I think it was probably about Bouchard or something. And he looks at Iwanek and he goes, I've been saying this to you all season. And Maddie's like, we haven't talked all season. And Hernan was like, well, I texted you that one time, and that's what this was about. But, I talked to you most of the season. Maddie, was that not like
Hernan's just yelling
I'm
into a
sitting there
well.
watching Hernan's claiming that, he's been telling Maddie all season about these things. And Matt's like, no, we haven't. We've only spoken,
Who's
we
he been
texted
texting?
once after a game. So there's nothing like seeing a full-blown. You know what I'd like to see? And we'll have to do this when we do our watch parties here. Because we're going to stream ourselves watching some of these games.
Yeah.
I want Hernan and YouTube Trev to sit together for a game and just have a camera on Hernan and Trev. And that would be some of the most entertaining stuff you'll see.
I will
in this
pay
market.
money.
That would be amazing.
I will pay what it costs for an Oilers ticket to watch that.
Oh, boy. That's a lot. That is a lot. All right, let's get into your Coolbet hotline of the day. Pat Greywire is going to join us a little bit later on. Just one game in the National Hockey League tonight after everybody played last night. Did anybody consume the Frozen Frenzy? We're going to get into it with Wyshynski. He's an ESPN guy, assuming he's pretty happy with how things went. I didn't have a chance to check it out. I'm not sure how many of you in Canada did, but if you did, let us know. But just one game tonight in the National Hockey League. New Jersey Devils are minus 224 on the money line against the Washington Capitals, who lost yesterday to Toronto. OV finally scoring. There might be one thing in that game that I like. I'm going to take a look at a few of the player props, but let's send it over to Mr. Lean, who did hit the minus 1.5 in soccer yesterday. Well done, Matty.
Yes. Minus 1.5 Bayern Munich. They took care of business. They did what they needed to.
Man, I'll say I've been I bet on everything, so I have bet on soccer, not as much as other sports. It's a ballsy play going minus 1.5 in soccer, and you got that done.
They were drawn at 1 at the half as well.
Woo,
Bayern had 2
big
goals
second
in the
half.
second. You had a huge second half.
Like 70th minutes were the goals, I think.
70th, late
Yeah.
on, and a big win for your United as well.
Yeah, but not looking good.
Onana with a penalty save. You got to like that, though. Hey,
Maybe that turns the season around. That's a nice
yeah.
little motivator. They get that save.
What's the lean today?
We're staying with soccer.
Staying with soccer. Of course we are.
You going to St. James?
I don't like any of the actual matches, win, loss, draw. Newcastle, Dortmund. They're playing out in England. The line has actually changed. It was minus 100. Now it's plus 100 for over 3 goals in this match. So if it's at 3, it's a push. So I would lean towards that plus 100 over 3 goals in this one.
Plus
I don't
100.
think there's clean sheets in this one. I don't think anyone's pulling
over 3 goals.
I could see this being like a 3-1, 3-2 type match, a high scoring, and if it ends up being a 2-1 match, just a push.
How many? Yeah, no, take that. Mr. Lean loves a push.
It's a push.
Right?
You get your money back.
Push.
You get your money back. You watched an entertaining soccer game.
A push.
If there's a fourth,
a
you're
push
happy.
is the definition of like the most relieving disappointment. And you're like, whew, got my money back, but then you're also like, damn, wish I would have cashed that.
It's plus money.
Plus money on over 3 goals.
Total goals between Newcastle and Dortmund today. That one's a 1:00 match.
Is there a supporter fight prop in the Feyenoord Lazio match? That could get that could get dirty. That could get abandoned. Are there any odds to that getting abandoned?
Well, that's the
right?
thing.
Like,
Is there going to be an abandoned?
That could get abandoned?
Well, I mean, those are two fan bases that
Man
violence is
City
their
to
middle
win
lane.
by 3 is plus 146.
On the road.
Against Young
Switzerland,
Boys.
eh?
Young
Or-
Boys +2
Okay,
is
who?
only
They
plus
hold their own.
145.
They hold their own.
Who are they
might
playing?
hold it.
Young Boys. That's the club name.
Who are the Young Boys?
We've gone over this before.
No, who are the?
Yeah.
Is that their
Is that
nickname?
Swiss?
Yeah.
No, is that that's
BSC Young Boys, yeah.
Is that Switzerland?
Yeah.
On their like they're actually called the Young Boys.
BSC Young Boys.
Not the Young
Yeah,
Boys.
but what if
BSC
you're like
Young
what
Boys.
if you're like 31 and playing the team?
I don't think like
There's
not
some
all the guys on the
bad
Oilers work at
names
the
in
Oilers
soccer.
rigs, you know, like it's kind of
Or there's some weird names in soccer.
Grasshopper
But
FC.
Them to
The
cover
Young
too,
Boys.
That's not terrible.
No, just Young Boys. BSC Young Boys. Not
Where's the Young Boys come from?
Burn
Is it like a
Switzerland.
legacy thing in the city they're from, or
Don't just Google Young Boys. I'll say that right now. Young
that's a
Boys
good point.
Soccer.
That's a good point.
BSC
Well, I just was
Young
typing it
Boys.
out, and I was just thinking, don't stick with that one.
All right, I think I'm going to go here for the Coolbet hotline of the day. I thought about sprinkling some association tonight. There's a lot
Before
going
you
on.
do that,
Yeah.
the club was founded in 1898. It was intended to mimic that of a Basel-based club, Old Boys.
Oh my God!
So
So,
they're
this
spotted
team was
with Young
started out of spite. It's a spite name.
I like that. Get me to those Young Boys, Old Boys clashes. Yeah.
Imagine copying somebody and just flipping it around. That's,
Jake Moss in the
soccer,
nasty
baby,
chat saying no clean sheets. Hey, Mr. Lean, how about both teams to score -135? I like that one too.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. That's good too. That's a nice. If you're going to be going the over, both teams score. That way, you still cash a 2-1.
Yeah.
You want to change the lean?
No, I'm still
Oh,
sticking
okay,
with
all
the
right.
3.
Hey,
still-
you never know.
It's
We
plus
give you a
money
chance.
because it's plus money.
Yeah. I'm going to go New Jersey Devils in regulation tonight, -137 over the struggling Washington Capitals. The only game in the National Hockey League tonight. Washington Capitals are at least Ovi scored last night. That was nice, but they got nothing else going on for them right now. So I'll take New Jersey at home -224. Coming off that win over Montreal, or not -224 is the money line. If you like them on the puck line, which isn't a bad play either, that's +112. But I'm being a safety boy, responsible boy. New Jersey Devils in regulation -137 will be your Coolbet hotline of the day. Lock Shop coming up at 11 o'clock with myself and Huss today. We both hit on some things last night. We both missed narrowly on some big ones last night. So we'll get into that. I was chatting about it with Big Uke last night at Boston Pizza. And it should just be the slogan for the Lock Shop. It should just be the Lock Shop. Sports betting. You know, because that's how it is. That's how we all view it, right? It's just wild and crazy times. Anyway, we'll get into it. Connor Bedard having a goal called off due to offside cost me a big time last night. So that sucked. But we'll get into that with Pat Gregoire. He's going to pop by here around 7:45. We're going to get to a sports update for Park Mazda, and we'll come back with free advice. What do you need help with? Maybe as an Oilers fan, you're struggling right now, and you're just down in the doldrums, and you need some advice on something. Work advice, life advice, fantasy sports advice. Let's go. Starts and sits and all that fun stuff. Waiver wire trades. We're going to give you that advice for free, courtesy Damon Bunting. Buying or selling, he's your guy. We're going to get into that coming up. But first, a sports update with Lieutenant Eric.
Oilers dropping 7-4 down in Minnesota. The Wild ride Hartman with the hat trick on the evening. The club will return home and welcome in the Rangers tomorrow night. Other action last night on the Frozen Frenzy Day. Rangers besting the Flames 3-1. Austin Matthews picking up his 7th of the season. Leafs over the Capitals 4-1. Canucks edging out the Preds on the road 3-2. Jets over the Blues 4-2. Kings double up the Coyotes 6-3, while the Bruins, Avalanche, and Golden Knights all victorious as well. They all remain perfect on the season. The Arizona Diamondbacks off to the World Series after a 22-year absence as they defeat the Phillies 4-2, taking the NLCS in 7 games. Game 1 of the World Series against the Rangers will go Friday down in Arlington. Over to the NBA, where the defending champion Nuggets knock off the Lakers 119-107. Suns with a 108-104 win over the Golden State Warriors. 12 games. A busy NBA schedule later tonight. Sports update brought to you by the staff at Park Mazda and Mitch Lewicki. He learned a while back that if he does not text 911, people will not return his calls, but people always return his calls because they think something horrible has happened.
Oh my God.
Why am I looking at that?
Wait, why are you slowing down?
Frank?
No way. Frank?
Hey, honey. Hey.
What on earth are you doing?
We're streaking. We're going up through the quad to the gymnasium.
Who's streaking?
There's more coming.
Frank, get in the car.
Everybody's doing.
Now.
Okay. Lease the all-new 2024 Mazda CX-90 inline-6 turbo or plug-in hybrid to have room for absolutely everybody with its third-row seating. Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road, parkmazda.ca.
The Nielson Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
$7:35 on the Nielson Show. Thank you very much for being here. You can text us anytime, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. -9 in Edmonton right now, up to a high of about -4 for this afternoon with some sunshine, not too shabby. And, temperatures hanging around above 0 all of next week, too, which is kind of nice. You still cracking over there?
Yeah, I'm so pissed
Holy
off.
smokes, buddy.
My heart is full of hate this morning after the 5 packs that I just cracked with nothing to show for it.
Do you need some free advice on how to get out of this?
Yeah, how do I stop?
Holy smokes. I have a feeling you're going to complete this set and still keep cracking.
Yeah, or I might complete it by just buying them, which would be a hell of a feat. I've never done that before.
How many do you have left? Where's the checklist at?
To go over there. I like just a little over 10, I would say.
10 total cards from the set.
Like a little over.
And you're still buying packs. Holy smokes.
Well, because you want to hit that one.
Yeah, I mean, it is when you get down to 10 cards, if you pull one of them, it's a huge
It's a good
rush.
day.
It's a rush.
So I'm still chasing that high.
All right, let's get into a free advice for Damon Bunting. Visit his website, damonbunting.com, or his Instagram handle. You can find him at Damon Bunting Real Estate on the gram. Basically, I like to brand all of our clients as this. Damon Bunting, best in the biz.
Yeah.
Pro-Am Sports, best in the biz. EM Utility Locating, best in the biz.
I mean, we did get the dream team to wrap
Yeah,
up
we
the
did.
studio,
Yeah.
so
look at Popeyes.
Only the best.
Look at Louisiana Kitchen Studio. But yeah, Damon Bunting, buying or selling, he's your guy. Check it out, damonbunting.com. And he's a guy who's helping us eventually, as we continue to develop our business, become slumlords in the apartment game. So we're very much looking. Actually, we were thinking eventually we'll take over this whole top floor. Lady down the hallway just moved out. There's a whole office over there.
We'll drive him out sooner or later, hey?
A full-blown office down the hallway for Maddie.
I'll be eating fish in the microwave 5 days a week. Just reheating it every day.
I think we rent that room and or that little office and turn it into a nap room. Like just have a couple legit queen-size beds in there.
I say a couple of us go get our massage certificates. We take over the... You ever run a spa? I'd love to try.
You know what that would work really well for? A small starting level Nielson Nap Emporium. Right? 3 or 4 nap pods in there, and people can come up, pop in, see us, then go have a nice little snooze.
Save money on power, never turn the lights on. Like it'd just be like a...
Sleep for an hour for $15. Why not? I think we could probably do that. Bunting's a business guy. He can help us. He can help us do this. He can help us find an office for the Nap Emporium. He can help you find a new home. What do you need help with? 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999, or, of course, in the nasty chat today as well. We got a few here that came in a little bit earlier. This one says, Dusty, would you trade Dak Prescott for Baker Mayfield? I feel dirty even discussing a trade that involves Dak Prescott or Baker Mayfield now.
Yeah, which side are you on here?
I feel like I still hang on to the upside of Dak Prescott. I can't justify trading Dak, who I did view somewhat highly coming into the fantasy football season, to get your hands on Baker Mayfield, who basically went undrafted in every single league that he's a part of.
Like, would you trade Baker to get Dak?
I would trade Baker to get Dak. So I guess that's probably that's a good one. That's
a bit of a weird who's doing what here?
I do like that one. All right, this is an interesting one. This is one that we have to deal with. And once again, if you need help with anything, free advice right now for Damon Bunting, 780-218-9999. I recently started a new job, and the guy I'm in the truck with only wants to listen to top 40 music in the morning. Help me convince him otherwise. What are we supposed to do here?
Well, I mean, you can listen to top 40. Top 40 is like it's like breathing. It's all around you all the time, anytime, right?
Yeah.
You can get top 40. You can digest top 40 music We'll give you top 40 music. I mean, we got hits here.
You don't think this hits hard every morning?
The Nielson Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports
That's
Talk.
top 40 right there. Slow down, sped up.
This is charting at number 3 right now on Kiss FM. Sure. Here's tell this guy, Edmonton Sports Talk, best in the biz.
Yeah.
And then he'll probably want to hop on board.
EDM on the EST in YEG.
You know what you should probably throw back is how popular we made Dance Party Friday.
Kick the hell out of Virgin down the hall on Fridays. Hey?
Yeah, oh yeah.
We were pumping.
In the end, they really should have just flipped our station onto Virgin Radio. I mean, we talked about that forever.
We had good mixes.
Put us on an FM
mixes.
signal.
Yeah.
Like it would have been. By the way, if there's any FM stations out there who are looking for good content, let's talk. All right, let's talk. Hey, Dusty, do I go with Cousins or Burrow this week? Comes in from C. Hendo. Man, how am I supposed to give advice to start Kirk Cousins over Joe Burrow in fantasy? Let me look at the match. Oh, yeah. Burrow plays the Niners.
Vikings at Lambeau.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I'd start Cousins. I actually think Kirk Cousins, I was looking at some of the projections last night in one of our leagues. I think Kirk Cousins is projected to get more points than Joe Burrow, too.
He's fired up. Another primetime win for him.
Yeah.
Hey.
Lamar Jackson or Joe Burrow? Lamar Jackson. Thank you very much for that one. That's an easy one.
Ravens at Cardinals.
Yeah, no. Lamar, don't even ask that question. You're starting Lamar Jackson in fantasy over Joe Burrow every single week. All right, this one comes in from the Nandalorian. I won tickets to work at the Heritage. I've won tickets to the Heritage Classic at work, but I already bought my girlfriend tickets to see the Dirty Dancing musical on Sunday. Is there any way I can get out of this? So you weren't planning on going to the Heritage Classic, but then you won Heritage Classic tickets at work, but you'd already decided to treat your lovely lady to what musical? A Dirty Dancing musical. How do you flip this?
Musical.
The musical for Dirty Dancing.
So is that like the Mayfield dinner thing? Like, what are we talking here? What are we the musical?
It's at Seductions across the street.
I think this is the relationship ender. Hey, like it could be a low key.
Wow, that's the advice here. Is that your relationship's over?
You might as well get out of this. I mean, Dirty Dancing at the musical thing for the birthday.
Dirty Dancing was a really good movie, and it would make a great musical / dance number.
Yeah, Heritage Classic though. It's like the pop.
I mean, McDavid's not even going to play probably.
Well, but this is a once this thing doesn't come along.
Yeah, but
you can go to Dirty Dancing. I mean, you could probably watch it on YouTube, right? You could download a torrent. It won't be the same as going, but this is people still talk about the original one, right?
Yeah, but they won't talk. They won't talk about this one like the original one.
Sure, but
there's no alumni
might.
game. No, I don't think they will. It's
an event.
So. I think if you plan something of significance for the significant other, I think you have to follow through on it.
Blow up the relationship.
Wow.
Find somebody else at the Heritage Classic.
All right.
It's your advice. I'm not.
Don't put that advice on me.
No.
Don't put that advice on me.
Just chiming in.
This guy's saying blow up the relationship. My goodness. With that being said, if they had lived together and they're blowing up the relationship, that's two people, or at least one person, looking for a home with Damon Bunting. Right?
That's what I was trying to get to here.
Yeah, realtors must love when people split up because it's just that's another house.
That's like a buzzard flying around the.
Let's see. Let's get to this one. In a keeper league, Dusty, would you trade Saquon for Jahmyr Gibbs? I mean, that depends on your current plan of what you want to do with your team. If you're trying to get the job done now, I would say no. But if you're a team that like maybe Saquon's your only good guy and you're trying to get a little bit of a rebuild going, I'd probably try to get a draft pick with Gibbs. But I'd probably be. They're going to eventually work Gibbs in Detroit. I think you can't use that much draft capital on a guy and have him waste away from a fantasy perspective. So there's some learning there. And there's some improvement, obviously, for a young running back like that. But if you can get a pick thrown in with Gibbs, I think I'd probably get to that one. Old Gill. Oil Gill. I thought it was Old Gill. I like the idea of an Old Gill. What are you doing with Jameson Williams in redraft leagues? I'm not keeping him in redraft leagues. I'm stashing him right now in redraft leagues. Just stash him and kind of see where it plays out. Advice, please. Kids go to bed before the end of Oilers games, so they FaceTime me in the morning to find out how the rest of the game went. First of all, that's a special moment. Yeah. Recently, as you can imagine, it's been a rough FaceTime. This morning, I ghosted them. I just can't keep breaking their little hearts. What should I do? Oh, boy. Oh, boy. That's in from Strummy today. Yeah, I mean...
You're the parent.
I used to FaceTime my kids quite often during the show, too. But now that the Nielson Show is uninterrupted, there's no time for that.
Although I guess we could carve out like
we could FaceTime Marshall and the Muzz.
30-second, hey, how
yeah,
you doing?
Yeah, Marshall and the Muzz.
We'll have to tighten it up, though.
They're probably watching while they should be on the way to
tighten
school.
up, though.
But odds are they're probably running late and still watching.
Mic technique.
Yeah.
Come on. Come on.
I think as a parent, you shouldn't have ghosted them. I think all along the way here, being parents, we're going to have to break hard news to our kids as they grow up and they learn more about life. But
better that come from you as the parent, right? Then you can walk them through it.
Come from a parent,
and it's like swearing too. You this is what it is.
Yeah, I swear at my kids all the time.
Sure, but
so
they know
they're my kids.
Yeah. And when they get in the real world, they'll have like an understanding of it, and it won't be.
I think it's important for a parent to sit their kids down and have that talk. Sit down with them, have that talk, and just say to them, "Listen, as you grow up, you'll start to realize that Evan Bouchard is awful defensively." And there's really no way you can get urgency into his game.
Yes. Let me tell you about this man named Tyson Berry.
Hey, boys. Actually, I think it was Belsey last night there. It was just like, or maybe it was one of the boys. They were like, should have traded Boosh to get Berry. Hey, boys, we are expecting our first child in January, and my wife is giving me a hard time about not reading any books already. Been really busy at work, and do I even need to read them? That's in from Picks. I think my wife's probably watching, like I mentioned. I don't remember really reading any books, and we had that baby just fine. So
just kind of close your eyes and get at it. Hey,
I think nowadays there's got to be a TikTok channel where you can just go like this and just keep swiping like this and learn how to raise a child, no problem.
Probably.
In the end, it's like the Oilers, for example. Jay Woodcraft can try to teach them to play this new zone defense, but it's just got to come to them naturally, right? You can teach somebody to try to be a parent. You can try to read about becoming a parent, but you kind of just got to wing it when it happens.
Is this what we're witnessing with the defensive structure? This is like a newborn child now? That Manson and co are just kind of learning as they go?
I think so. The whole thing.
How do I hold this thing?
Yeah. Last night they had Evan Bouchard suckling at the teat.
Sooner or later, Manson will be walking around holding Bouchard by the leg.
They went home last night and swaddled Fogel and said, "Good boy."
I could pick him up and throw him. It's easy.
A swear word is only a swear word because we've deemed it to be. But realistically, it's no different than any other word. It just comes with more emphasis.
I like how that text just flies in on
yeah,
okay, yeah.
I mean, it's a very valid point.
I agree with you.
Very valid point.
Were you wanting advice on that, or
Yeah. Sailor's into this other guy and says, "There's a podcast called Dude, You're Going to Be a Dad. Listen to it." There you go. There's another way. Consume content. All right, that's free advice for Damon Bunting. Visit him, check it out, DamonBunting.com. And it's working. He's told us it's working. He's had some leads. He's had some people reach out.
Just overall great guy.
He's a really nice guy.
I feel like I should get that on the record each and every time that we do a free advice.
We're trying to get him in on the hangout.
Maybe Friday, it seems like.
A maybe. We got a maybe?
He gave me I think I could do that yesterday. So.
Oh, boy. Because we got the glue guy in on Friday, too. Glue guy, Jay Milne, and Bunting are buddies.
That's a hangout.
So that's a real nice hangout coming. And glue guy will probably bring in some sort of baked good. And they can have the Bunting waters and the glue guy baked goods, and it'll be a really good time.
Oh, that's a good pairing.
So last night, this was real vicious. I'm watching. I had yesterday on Lock Shop, I put together a 4-player point prop. Draisaitl, McKinnon, Jack Hughes, all hit. Needed a Connor Bedard point. So I'm watching the highlights with Big Uke last night at Boston Pizza, and I see the Bedard goal, and I was like, boom, got it. And then he's like, actually, and then like on the highlight they go, but, and I see them review it for the offside.
David Amber.
It was David Amber.
He did you dirty.
Were you with me then?
Yeah,
was that us?
Yeah,
we were there. Yeah, and I was just like, damn you, David Amber, don't lead me into thinking that this, and it was a nice shot too.
Sure, yeah.
So that was a major buzzkill. And then, Detroit totally screwed us on the parlay. It was a wild ride on that partner parlay last night because this was from the Lock Shop partner parlay. We had the 2 games. We needed the Red Wings. They scored 3 goals. 3 goals in the third period to come back and take the lead, then let it slip away, and then lost with like 2 seconds left in overtime. Like we said, the Lock Shop. Sports betting.
Some would call it a frenzied evening, hey?
Very much
around
so.
the NHL,
Very much so. Let's bring in Pat Gregoire with Coolbet Canada. If you're not yet signed up for an account at Coolbet, you can do so. I mean, if you've been following along with us, you know we're hammering things out over at Coolbet.com. Use the code LOCKSHOP when you sign up. You'll get a 100% deposit bonus on your initial deposit up to 200 smackaroos. Patty, that was a lot of hockey to consume yesterday, my man.
And my couch just has a crater in it from not just the hockey. I mean, we had Game 7, NBA tip-off. It was an unreal night to be a sports fan. But, yeah, the frenzy was a big success. I would love to see it multiple times a year, maybe not in the middle of baseball playoffs and the opening night of NBA. But from all things south of the border, it sounds like it was a success. And obviously, Canadians up here, we're not going to complain, but we are going to complain to the NHL because I think you even said it yesterday. We could see the NHL calling in or ESPN calling in saying, hey, come on, let Connor Bedard score here. He's the guy we're pumping on. And they do the opposite. They took that away. They took his goal away, took a great moment away. I don't even know if you saw. He did the Patrick Kane selly.
Yes, he did the little, I saw it.
Iconic moment, just robbed from us, absolutely robbed from us. And I was riding with you, so I was very disappointed on that. But overall, the Lock Shop, myself, pretty profitable day, all things considered, but a couple heartbreakers.
A couple heartbreakers. The local Terry Jones 16-game parlay ended up going 12 of 16. So that one didn't work out. I had Huss, we'll get into in the Lock Shop today. He had a 9-gamer that was ruined by that Detroit finish. So I'm sure, man, I wish I would have been sitting with Huss last night. He probably was at the Wind City Pub, and it was probably an absolute heartbreaker.
Mr. Ritz Cracker.
Yeah, him and Ritz Cracker at Wind City Pub last night. We'll get into it on the Lock Show. You know, I did say yesterday, though, on our show, I think it was, like, my favorite thing about the Frozen Frenzy was the betting of it. You know, like, it's way too much hockey to consume to sit down and just watch it, but I love the ability that we were able to treat it like a National Football League Sunday and really sort of dive into it from a betting perspective. And I'm kind of with you. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing it again, but in a proper day on the calendar, really.
Yeah, and maybe even, 50 minutes staggered is great. Maybe you even go to half an hour and do it on the weekends.
Yeah, on a Saturday you could go half an hour.
Can you do that during the NBA season, though, too? Like, with tip-off last night in those 2 games, like, I'm just wondering on a whole... You know, the boringness of sports here, we're kind of going behind the door, but
yeah, it's tough because I heard you guys talk about it yesterday on the Lock Shop. Like, you can't go during college football season. You can't do it on a Sunday during NFL season.
Yeah.
Maybe you grab maybe it's a Sunday or a Saturday, in March or something like that.
We were saying too, I think Iwanek had the idea of like Black Friday after American Thanksgiving or something. You could maybe have a full day in the afternoon, but
that's a brilliant idea too. But then again, there is some college football that's going on.
College football, yeah.
And now the NFL is dipping their toes in. It just seems like every holiday now the NFL is stranglehold it, which you can't blame them because if you put a game on, doesn't matter who it is. It could be, any team, pick 2 garbage teams and people are going to tune in regardless if it's a standalone game. And we'll probably bet the over on the 3.5 field goals while we're at it too. But all in all, I would love to see this, whether it's, like you said, Black Friday, do it on a Saturday. It's tough with the NBA season as well. But the other thing with that is the ESPN has the rights for NBA as well. So maybe they're able to figure out a way to
work on some
scheduling.
Yeah.
That way. So definitely, I would say bravo to ESPN, bravo to the NHL on the first time. You're always going to get people complaining about some things, but all in all, not bad for the first time doing it.
I know you would have had eyes on that Washington Leaf game last night. And people will kill me if I want to ask a question about the Leafs. So what do you think of Washington right now, buddy? They're in a tough spot. They play tonight. I'm on the Devils in regulation tonight against Washington. But what did you take away from Washington last night?
That team's not going to be very good this year. As simple as that. They outshot the Leafs. They outchanced the Leafs technically when you look at it on paper, but you never really felt all that threatened from this team. Like, yeah, sure, Ovechkin, I think he ended up having some ridiculous amount of shots, like 15 or something like that. He had 12, he had 12 in the first period, which is insane.
Wait, stop. Scoring. He had 12 shots in the first period?
12 shots. He had 12 shots in the first period. It was nuts. But there were, that's like a guy that that was due for
he was trying,
a goal, big time. But again, like, there weren't a ton of high danger chances for this Capitals team. They're very, very scattered in their own end. The goaltending situation, not ideal as well. Like, this is a team that I think the window has clearly closed, even though Alexander Ovechkin, now with him scoring a goal here, I would not be surprised for him to go on a tear here. But this is a team that their championship window is closed. And I think that over the next couple of years, the main focus of this organization is let's get Ovi to break Gretzky's record. And it's crazy to say, but I mean, he is the Capitals. When you think of the Washington Capitals, you think of Alexander Ovechkin. This is a team that's going to struggle. Like, the Leafs did not play very well last night, and they still dominated them in almost every single fashion. Like, they didn't need a ton of goal scoring opportunities. They didn't really need to really dial it in defensively because a lot of the shots were from the outside, not really high danger. They were able to work on some things. They were able to juggle some lines, try some other things. And it really honestly felt like watching like a high school hockey game and a team that's, a quad A, triple, top of the league going up against, the ragtag bunch that, just has enough guys to field the team. They're all wearing different socks, not even wearing the same jerseys. Like, it felt like that, where the team's like kind of just working on some things, being kind. And then when they get a scoring opportunity, they score. And okay, now like Ryan Reeves is getting a ton of ice time in the third period. It almost seemed like they were trying to feed him the puck to score. It's crazy to say, considering, obviously I'm a huge Ovechkin guy. I love him. I've always been a big fan. The Capitals, because of that, have had a soft place in my heart. But with that being said, man, this team's going to struggle a lot this year.
Pat Gregor with us from Coolbet right now. I looked it up after Ovechkin tonight against New Jersey. Over 3.5 shots is -125. So if you want to see him kind of follow up on what he was doing yesterday, obviously with an idea of, hey, let's just get some shots on goal here. Don't mind that play either. Now, it is a light night tonight, Patty. Just the one game in the National Hockey League after the frenzy yesterday. Maddie went soccer with the Mr. Lean. Is there anything that's jumping off the page for you tonight anywhere?
Well, on that note, we already got the Edmonton Sports Talk parlay up. So in that footy game, we had obviously, because it's 3, we bought it down to the 2.5.
Beautiful for the parlay.
So
I love it.
Better for the parlay that way. And then Devils in regulation, looking at a +210 there. But in terms of, light schedule for the NHL, for sure, I'm already on, like you said, that shots for Ovechkin. It's hard not to ride with Jack Hughes right now. For him to get 2 points +129, there is going to be an exclusive later on for him to get 2 points and the Devils to win. I don't know what the number will be, but I'm probably going to bet that. Like, I think Hughes is legitimately going to be in the conversation to win a Hart Trophy this year. He's going to be in the race for the Art Ross. Like, I think this is a guy that last year we saw him take a step into superstardom. But I think he's going to take that next step and be in the elites of the elite. Like, maybe not the conversation of the Connor McDavids, the Leon Draisaitl's, whoever you want to put in that conversation, but he's right there. Like, I think he's going to be a top 6 player in the National Hockey League after this year. Heavy NBA slate. I haven't taken much of a look quite yet. I know the Raptors, though, are a slight underdog at home, -105 against the Timberwolves, who are -111. Raptors always play well at home, but this is a weird year for the Raptors, to be quite honest. I don't know. Like, you look at OG Anunoby, you thought he was going to be gone at the end of this, or at the end of last year before the deadline. He's still there. A lot of uncertainty. Is Pascal Siakam going to be around? But this is a contract year for OG. So whether he's going to be with the Raptors by the deadline or not, or if he's going to be battling for a contract, which it is. So I would look to his point total a lot this year. It's at 15.5 at -118. I think I really like OG to put on a show in the first game to kind of show that, this is a guy that is looking for a contract. But you could also argue with the way that Siakam has played over the last couple of years, and he's supposed to be the guy. This is supposed to be his team. I feel like OG has that killer instinct in him, and maybe this is the time where he can take over as the guy who gets that last shot, the guy who, is the guy that comes up at the big moments. And I know it's only game one, but a home opener, your big players should be getting their juices flowing. And OG to score 16 points, that seems like a no-brainer for me.
I like that one. I'm going to try to dive into that game a little bit more in the lock shop later today at 11 o'clock. Have some fun with a big slate in the association. Patty, as always, buddy, man, thanks a lot for popping by.
Thanks, boys. And don't worry, the sky's not falling yet. It's early.
It's damn close, Pat. Early. It's damn close. All right?
Get rid of the zone. Get rid of the zone, please.
See you later, buddy. There you go. That's Pat Gregoire, one of the best lacrosse analysts in the entire country as well. And you'll see and hear him on our show and on the Lock Shop throughout the week. We'll mix in a little Jake from Coolbet as well. Huss is going to be an all-timer today when he rolls in after the bad beat in that Red Wings game last night. That should end up being a pretty fun show today. So make sure you join us for the Lock Shop at 11 o'clock. We will have Oil Stream today at noon today as well, and that's going to be straight fire. I can't wait for that. Greg is in and says, I worked a 12-hour day yesterday, so I'm tuning in a little bit later than usual. The show must have sucked because there's 300 nasties in here and only 72 likes. What say you? You know what I say? I say we hammer that thumbs up button. As soon as you get in, if that thing's not at 100 every day, just hit it. Just hit it. I mean, unless you don't like us, then hit the thumbs down. No, don't hit the thumbs down. Whatever you do, don't hit the thumbs down.
It's good that there's not from last night's performance and everything. Still no thumbs down. I don't know about thumbs up, but no thumbs down. No thumbs down.
Greg Wyshynski is going to join us. This is a guy who picked the Edmonton Oilers to win the Stanley Cup. I gave him a chance to back off of that prediction last week, but he hasn't yet. We'll get to Wyshynski coming up in hour number 3. Lieutenant Eric's weekly rankings of power on the way in hour number 3. 3 questions too many. If you have any questions for us, maybe some Oilers questions, non-Oilers questions, non-sports questions. We don't mind non-sports questions. Send them into the Paris Jewelers inbox, 780-218-9999, or just hit us up in the nasty chat over here. We'll grab those as well. And, of course, Kind of Easy Trivia to get us going. If you would like to play Kind of Easy Trivia today for a gift certificate from Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual, don't be shy. Come and get it. All you need to do is get 3 out of the 5 questions correct. Let me see these questions here. I got them kicking around.
Keep that streak going here,
hey?
Hey?
Yeah, we haven't had anybody screw up just
here.
yet. Yeah, you're going to win today. You're going to win today. Not a problem. So if you'd like to play, text us at 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999, and let Maddie know that you'd like to play today. He'll call you. We'll get that set up right now. Let's get into a sports update for United Sport and Cycle.
Oilers' struggles continue. They drop one down to Minnesota 7-4 to the Wild. Minnesota scoring 5 third-period goals. Ryan Hartman with the hat trick. Oilers return home to host the Rangers tomorrow night. Other action yesterday, so the Bruins, Avalanche, and Golden Knights all victorious. They remain perfect on the season. Kings over the Coyotes 6-3. Jets 4-2 over the Blues. Canucks 3-2 on the road over Nashville. Leafs 4-1 over the Caps. And the Rangers taking care of the Flames 3-1 down in Calgary. Just a lone game around the league tonight when the Capitals visit New Jersey. Arizona Diamondbacks are back in the World Series following a 22-year absence. They double up the Phillies 4-2, taking Game 7 of the NLCS. Game 1 of the World Series will go Friday from Arlington against the Rangers. The defending champion Denver Nuggets knocking off the Lakers 119-107 as NBA regular season action tipped off last night with a pair of games. Elsewhere, the Suns defeated the Warriors 108-104. 12 games on tonight's schedule, including the Toronto Raptors playing their home opener to the Minnesota Timberwolves. This sports update for United Sport and Cycle, supporting hockey and your community for over 95 years.
The Nielson Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
8:04 with the Nielson Show. Dustin Nielson and Lieutenant Eric with you. If you missed part of the show and you're watching right now, just scroll back. How cool is that? It's just awesome.
You can pause whenever you want. Hey,
are we trying to drive to 200 likes now?
The drive to 200.
The drive to 200.
The drive to the final hour, right? Where were you when?
Man, we've never hit 200 before. Yeah. I'm gonna hit it once.
You haven't hit it yet. Hey, I love that. Yeah, give it.
There we go. I just gave it one. All right, now we're at 113. Let's see if we can push. We still got an hour to get this done.
55 minutes.
55 minutes. Can we get
drive to 200?
Can we get 86 thumbs up in 55 minutes? If we do, YouTube Trev will shave his head. Just kidding. We won't. YouTube Trev did leave us a nice little note today. If you missed the 6 o'clock hour, Trev was doing the postgame last night.
Close to pulling out his hair, actually, near the end. Yeah. I think maybe for him, eh?
Had a lot of fun last night! Exclamation point. Keep crushing it, boys! Exclamation point. And have a great show! Exclamation point. Cheers, YouTube Trev.
He doesn't shy away from those exclamation points. Eh?
Very big exclamation point guy.
Out there.
Big time exclamation point guy. All right, we've got 3 questions too many. We got the weekly rankings of power. We got Greg Wyshynski coming up, and the wrap for William Huff. Jam-packed third hour. I do want to let loose on the Oilers again, though. I was pretty fired up in the 6 o'clock hour.
Hey, you know what? I think I like that. You like it?
Oh yeah. Do you like?
I
me
like all that
ranting on the Oil today. If you do. We gotta get like a big sort of foam thumbs up that we can kind of just put here and be like,
like the foam finger, but yeah,
because it kind of looks like this.
I'm sure the Hive.
That thumbs up thing looks like the guy really only has like 3 extra fingers, but
it's like a mitt, like a winter mitt.
Imagine you're hitchhiking on YouTube. Throw a thumb out there. Nielson and Lieutenant are coming to you from the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen Studios, where I'm sure Furby, who's one of the owners of Popeyes, is probably just devastated this morning because he's a huge Oilers guy.
Oh, boy.
Huge Oilers guy. Furby's probably having a tough time with what's going on right now with this team. Yeah, Furby, like YouTube Trev, Hernan Salas.
They bleed.
Like, yeah, it's true. It's true. Get your hands on, if you need a pick-me-up today, you want something to spice up your life a little bit, get your hands on the Ghost Pepper Chicken Sandwich, new game changer. Not new, but a game changer on the menu at Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen, all locations. DoorDash, Skip the Dishes, and Uber Eats, and they are the studio sponsor here at EdmontonSportsTalk.com. We are going to play kind of easy trivia right now for Mr. Mike's, who wants a gift certificate from Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual, the casualest place ever in the Hampton Inn on the corner of 137th Ave and Mark Messier Trail. You can't miss it because as you're driving by, it smells so damn delicious that it catches your nostrils, and then you turn in and you have a good meal.
Yeah, it's like a cartoon. You smell and you kind of levitate a bit and you float on over.
And there's that little wave of smell.
Yeah.
And then you're floating. Like the Animaniacs.
You can't resist.
Donald Duck did a lot of floating, I think.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking
cartoons.
about. Try the sirloin bites. You're going to love them. And, of course, the Nielsen recommendation is the classic Mike Burger, Pickle Out. Who's playing today, Matty?
Coltron.
The
Coltron.
God, I hope that's his real name. All right, let's go to Coltron this morning. Coltron, good morning. How you doing?
Yeah, not so bad. How are you this morning?
We're doing good, man. Thanks for asking.
I'm okay.
Did your parents name you Coltron, or are you Colton and your buddies call you Coltron?
Everyone calls me Coltron. So, yeah, I wish they would have named me Coltron right from the get-go, but I guess I hadn't earned that yet.
You can always legally change it, I guess.
Yeah, you could. Step up, man. You're an adult now.
Yeah, it's on the table.
Yeah, it's always, you know what, we're just all too busy to go do a legal name change, right? There's a lot of hassle with that. All right, man, well, you need 3 out of 5 correct to win that gift certificate to Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual, and you win the opportunity to swing on by and pick it up and check out the new digs. I'll start the ticker after read the first question. You ready to go?
Oh, yeah.
All right, good luck. Here we go, man. How many goals did the Oilers allow last night?
7.
Which Oilers forward actually scored 2 goals last night?
Nick Lovin, Warren Fogle.
The Rangers and Diamondbacks will meet in which major event?
The World Series of Baseball.
Who is taller, Nikola Jokic or Steph Curry?
Steph Curry.
How many NHL teams didn't play yesterday?
0.
Nailed it. Well done, sir.
No! Oh, my God. Damn it, Shake, stop it!
They are going to remember that AM radio is a viable and modern source for news and entertainment.
Totally.
People don't listen to AM like they used to. Seems like it's more about FM and color TV.
That's stupid.
It sure is, Kevin.
I'm stoked. You stoked?
I'm stoked.
Just
I'm
so stoked.
You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
Club beats loop. And we had that guy asking for advice about the guy he works with that only wants to listen to top 40 music. And we just dropped a Club Beat Loop on you. It's one of the most popular songs in the city over the last 15 years.
And you're not hearing it anywhere else.
No.
Exactly. It is exclusively here.
Congratulations to Coltron. Mr. Mike's heads up. Coltron's rolling in. Coltron here.
Coltron here, yes.
Weekly rankings of power coming up. Greg Wyshynski's going to pop by here around 8:30 this morning. And then we're going to get to the Raptors. We got a long way to go still in this bad boy. Let's get into 3 questions too many today. Lieutenant Eric, do you have a liner for the segment this morning?
3 questions too many, brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda, where Mitch Lewicki, the dealer principal, has already abandoned his zone formation when it comes to his sales staff. Park Mazda, your dealer for life. You walk in there and they all just kind of stand around you. They don't do anything.
Yeah.
But they stand around you in a kind of a box formation, and then there's a 5th that just kind of rovers around. They don't talk to you. They don't engage with you. And Mitch is like,
It's
well,
time to change it
where
up.
are the sales at? You know, now they're going to go with the approach of they approach you.
Vehicle on vehicle
talk to
coverage.
you. Yes,
Yeah.
it's a
Man on man in the lot.
man to man. Yeah, woman to woman.
I believe, I don't know if I'm going out there or they're bringing it to me, but I have an appointment at 2:00 tomorrow to get the truck.
It's all becoming real.
It's on.
now.
I've been approved. My credit, I guess, is good enough.
Oh, good.
So I got
Good to
approved for this GMC Sierra Elevation.
Now, undercoating, you do any of that? Did you have like the sit down where they go over the extras and you say yes, no, yes, no?
I had an automatic starter added to it because
Yes,
I hate having to get into a cold.
You
vehicle.
still got the box.
Box goes up and box goes down. You got to push it up.
Oh, yeah,
it goes
push it up.
down. It goes down. It's real
All right,
nice.
yeah.
Yeah. So then I get that done.
No other bells or whistles though.
Thanks
You
for the
gonna
support to me.
CB radio? You gonna?
No CB radio yet, but I think you can add one in. I should have said to Mitch, can I get this Sierra Elevation with a CB radio?
And no built-in child car seats. You got to provide that, and you have them.
No, we only have Marshall's big enough now because he's a small human, a small like grown up basically at 8. And then the Muzz just sits in a booster seat, so it's like in and out. I'm past fighting with car seats, which is a really nice thing. Like first you get out of diapers, then you get out of car seats, and then you almost get your life back. So many parents would know that spot that we're in right there. Do you have a Twitter account?
That I do. It's at Lieutenant_Eric. You can always follow me on Twitter or the station account here at YEG Sports Talk, Edmonton Sports Talk.
Give us a sub.
Twitter account. Give us a sub. Hell, follow us. Try to do the whole thing. The Instagram, the Facebook, the Twitter, the TikTok. I think we're on Threads where we have an account on there. It's sitting there. We'll use it eventually. But all the socials, why not? And if you're on the Nasty Chat this morning, hit that like. 152, the drive to 200 does continue.
All right, we're rolling. We're going to get there for sure.
Yeah.
Boom, hammer it. Let's go. 200
Our
likes.
metrics are amazing.
That's our new standard now. That's the new standard. Let me get to this. Us and the Nasty Chat to that 200 like level when we hit it.
You're gonna live with me now. Yeah, I'm gonna take care of you. Because I love you.
Oh, I love you, John.
Oh, I love you, Son.
Yeah, we do love you, likes people.
Tyson and Tara in the Nasty Chat. You don't have to push the tailgate up. Just hold the button and park, and it will close.
Oh, hello.
Now life's
this just gets better and better, doesn't it?
Box goes up. Box
My
goes
goodness.
Down.
Big Maple in the Nasty Chat today says, I ate the medium-sized donair from Shawarma and Donair House in Sherwood Park yesterday. I couldn't finish it. That place is the best around. Well, is it? We'll find out in the Donair lair.
I threw out in the Nasty Chat just Donairs for lunch today, perhaps. After that loss, you want to kind of change the mood. Treat yourself.
Yeah, man, if we had the setup ready for the Donair lair, we could bang out one of those today.
Yeah.
We're going to start a Donair lair review show on our YouTube channel here at some point.
I look forward to those episodes where we just like sample a sauce.
Can we, when we start ordering donaires, we're gonna be like, can we also get a full-size sample of the sweet sauce, please?
If a place wants to try the new sauce, right? You mentioned you'll guinea pig anything right now, right? Like you'll taste test galore, right?
John T in Victoria says, a couple minutes from the beach. That's where he's at right now. Dusty, does the new truck come with the AM radio? Who cares now? I think it has an AM radio, but when you hit scan on it, it can't pick up any stations.
What's the point?
What's the point of it? It gets a 630 Ched, good buddies Stoff and Reed over there, but that's about it. So yeah, I'm not too concerned about the AM radio in the vehicle anymore. All right, let's get to question number 1. I've been cutting and pasting questions here. I use Notepad.
That's
for like
not
a lot
good.
of the things.
Notepad
Why
sucks.
not?
I
like
don't.
Notepad usually sucks too.
Yeah.
But it's easy. It's clean when I'm cutting and pasting things. Like I'm in a Notepad file right now. I didn't even know you could open up multiple tabs in Notepad, but I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tabs open in Notepad right now.
Doesn't the line just go on and on? Like you have to like, can't you just make an infinity line? Like,
well, I'm not doing HTML code.
Well,
that's what you're wondering.
That's what Notepad always reminds me of.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway,
I like you're a Notepad guy. This is
question number 1. I don't know. They didn't put their name on this one. Can we please rank the issues for the Oilers last night from least concerning to most concerning?
Look, as I said earlier, it'd be nice if we had a segment where there's a time to rank things and it was sponsored and that type of thing. I don't want to give away too much here.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
if you want to take this one, go.
I mean,
I
I'll
have
just
my
have
own.
a little bit of a rant here. Like, there's a few things that obviously concern me a little bit. The three. I mean, there's 3. Let me just quickly give you 3. I'm not even going to rank them in order. But here are I guess he's asking me to rank them more. But these are the 3 things that really jump off the page and are completely unacceptable from that hockey team last night. 1, Evan Bouchard in general. Evan Bouchard needs to have a bit of give a damn, especially in the defensive zone. But even on the pinch, what are you thinking? What are you doing? It was an off night for Bouchard. He was horrendous last night. If you're trying to justify saying Bouchard was playing a good game at any point in that game, you're nuts. Bouchard had a bad game last night. His coach does not hold him accountable. There's 0 chance Bouchard should have seen the ice again before the pinch goal. On the goal, the puck came around the boards and he completely bobbled it like it was a hand grenade, trying to get away from it, and Minnesota tic-tac-toe, boom, back of the net. Jay Woodcroft's inability to hold anybody accountable for some reason. Somebody, this was a great text that came in earlier today. I saved it in my text tab in Notepad. This is it right here. When my high school volleyball team played as bad as the Oilers, a parent would chew us out. I think the Oilers need someone's dad to get really mad at them and refuse to drive them home when they play this bad. That's in from California Sam. Somebody else texted in, and it was a great text as well. I don't think I put it on a tab, but it was a great text basically saying they feel like Woodcraft and Manson are trying to be friends of the players and not like parents and bosses and those who need to tell them what to do and hold them accountable. Like Evan Bouchard should have been held accountable last night. You don't see the ice again. I don't care if we need to score goals and come back and win this hockey game if you're Jay Woodcroft's thinking. You need to hold that guy responsible so he starts to play with some bloody urgency in his game. And then the other thing that rattled me last night would have been the 3 too many men penalties. What is this? That's as Bush League as it gets. How does a professional hockey team where coaches are paid millions of dollars, players are paid millions of dollars, have 3 too many men on the ice penalties? And don't give me the 11-7. This team is born into 11-7. They operate in 11-7 most of the season. All of a sudden, they take 3 too many men penalties? To me, that's the thing that makes it look like the biggest mess. That's a joke. AJHL teams, rec league teams, men's league teams, horrible men's league teams in Div 8 who literally don't try on a line change would not get 3 too many men penalties in a game. Anyway, that's all I got. Should we get to question 2? Question 2.
Yep.
Let's see here. 3 questions tab in the notepad file. Oh, this is kind of a fun one. With the Oilers being hot garbage, and thanks for sending this in. With the Oilers being hot garbage, let's talk about something positive. The Raptors tip off their season tonight. What's realistic expectations for them? Play-in game? That's what the question's asking.
An expectation for a play-in game?
I sure hope they're at least in a play-in game. I guess that would be. Here's their depth chart right now. Here's the Raptors depth chart. Dennis Schroeder, OG Anunoby, Scotty Barnes. I really thought Scotty Barnes was going to be that guy last year. Didn't. But maybe this is the year. Schroeder, who we like. I always liked him. OG Anunoby, Scotty Barnes, Pascal Siakam, and Pirtle. And then some of the depth. Gary Trent Jr., Chris Boucher, Precious is back. Malachi Flynn, maybe they can get more from him. And then of course Grady Dick, who they did draft. He's a shooter. And we'll see what he can bring to the table. He's got a lot of swag, that kid. So we'll see on that level. I don't know. Maddie, what do you think? Playing game for the Raptors this year? I don't expect them to miss the playoffs, so I guess my expectations would be they're at least in a playing game. Post Fred VanVleet.
Honestly, I haven't given them much thought to see where they're at.
But if you have Scotty Barnes, OG Anunoby, Pascal Siakam, and Pirtle's a good defensive center. I mean,
new coach.
What
does that mean?
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. We won't be. I won't be. I'll be disappointed if they miss the playoffs, but I don't know if I'd be surprised if they miss the playoffs.
That's great in the expectation. Like I don't
some
really
sort
expect
of playoff involved. Have a good run in the in-season tournament. Do something along those lines.
That's something. Again,
something you can look at
and
as well.
focus on. Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for the little
Penner's Pancakes,
association.
You're soothing yourself with it.
Yeah, kind of detour here before we get back to question number 3. This came into the nasty chat from Surveyor Brett. By the way, I retweeted a video last night about Surveyor Brett and his wonderful wife and their family. And she's had to battle cancer a couple of times. And it was really well done by CTV. And go check that out. Anyway, Brett asked, if the Oilers lose Thursday at home, do we see a jersey thrown on the ice?
Yeah, you get Rangers in town. It's right your
Hall of Fame night
thing. That's it. All eyes are kind of if somebody figures they want to create some sort of a message or send them like.
The answer is no. I don't think anybody's. Now somebody might get tipsy, and by tipsy I mean absolutely obliterated.
Yeah,
and think, oh, I'm gonna be a cool guy. I'm gonna go throw his jersey on the ice. But it is still just 6 games in.
If they get their pants pulled down, though.
If they lose 8-1, yeah, okay, yeah.
Well,
but,
even 8-1. But what would you like? Say they'd get like.
No part of this conversation is justifying throwing a jersey on the ice.
Not at all.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
No.
We're just trying to think if it does happen.
What would lead to that?
If it does happen, somebody's an idiot. We'll say that. If you're frustrated with the hockey team, just boo the hell out of them. Why would you throw something on the ice that you spent your hard money to pay hundreds of dollars for? You just have to go pick up a new one at Pro-Am the next day anyway. So I'm going to say no. If they were to lose at home and then lose the Heritage Classic, first of all, everybody's too far away to throw anything on the ice. You don't have to worry about that.
That's true.
But that would be boo birds out at Commonwealth, man. Holy smokes! Even if they beat the Rangers and then lose the Heritage Classic to fall to 2-5-1 on the year, boo birds will be out at Commonwealth.
Well, even if you don't win against the Rangers, but you show up, right? You illustrate some sort of sense of structure. You Bouchard looks like he's dialed in a bit. Like if there's marketed improvement from last night, they can get away with Thursday night being, if you drop a tight one, or you get goalied again, or whatever the case is. Certainly, it's not favorable, but you could come out of that game as well with at least if you're seeing some sort of an improvement heading into Sunday. If it's another flat performance, right, and you get
that would be a major reason for concern. Somebody just texted in and said, "You need to sit that clown down." That was a classic. Wasn't that a classic Rashog?
Yes, it was a Rashog. Yeah.
You know what, boys? I think I might have that. Let's see. I think this might. I found my whole Rashog folder from the vault.
Oh, that's a.
Yeah, let's see that. I think this might be "Sit That Clown Down" clip. Let's see.
Sit that clown down.
Sit that clown down.
Sit that clown down.
It's very definitive. Like he really like is.
He's not even joking.
No.
Sit that clown down.
Woo! Shaggy with the hottest of takes. No, don't throw things on the ice. Boo, rip them online, whatever.
Write a letter.
Oh,
you know, pen a
letter.
very strong letter, you know, to whom it may concern, and list out your gripes. But yeah, I don't. But I think in the spirit of the question, it was what would it take to get to that point? And I guess it would be you'd have to get again.
You have to be hammered.
I don't think you have to win. Like the Rangers are a good team. We talked yesterday. The Wild are kind of a middling team, and that's kind of what they are. And then the Oilers don't have a lot of success going there as of late. But the Rangers are a good team. So if the Oilers don't win Thursday, I'm just saying we need to kind of prepare ourselves for perhaps that reality. But you do want to see, you know, over the various points we've talked about this morning, whether it be individually or collective, you do want to see improvement coming out of that game.
Well, the one thing that it's an extremely frustrating situation to watch with this club right now, because I saw somebody in the nasty chat or in the Parachuters inbox earlier who basically said, you know, look at the Oilers' schedule. They'll be above 500 in November. But I see your look at the Oilers' schedule coming up, and I raised you with, look at the Oilers' schedule so far. Like, the Oilers' schedule so far in no way justifies them, you know, playing against a bunch of really good teams. They played a bunch of teams that weren't in the playoffs last year and haven't been able to win more than one game against a Nashville team that Nashville, if you would have just asked them politely, Nashville would have just mailed them the 2 points in the mail, and you wouldn't even have to go down there and play that game. So, yeah, don't give me this schedule. Oh, the schedule gets easier. The schedule has been easy, and they just haven't been able to get anything done. All right, that is 3 questions too many, brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda. Who wants to rank something? Right? Who here should rank something right now?
If we only had a system, a rankings-based system.
Oh, guess what? We do. Let's get into Lieutenant Eric's weekly rankings of power. Brought to you by the great staff at United. Cycle. They're going to be pretty fired up today after what happened last night. I would think they are your home for hockey, and United Sport and Cycle's got the breakaway hockey sale on now. How about this? Save up to 35% off hockey gear. It's like the same amount of effort Bouchard gives out in the defensive zone. 35% off hockey gear right now till November 1st. That's next week at United Sport and Cycle. The hockey sale is on. Go on in there and tell them that Edmonton Sports Talk sent you, and we'll love you forever. All right, Lieutenant Eric, what are you ranking today, buddy?
The top 10 ways to currently fix the Edmonton Oilers.
Whoa!
Yeah, only 10. You can also add on Paris Jewelers inbox, 780-218-9999 if I miss anything or you want to add to the list. And, of course, in the nasty chat as well, there will probably be more than 10 ways to fix this club right now, or there should be. But I cobbled together a few interesting ideas.
I like this.
Maybe we can use one. Maybe we can use a couple. Maybe you don't want to use any. But my top 10 ways to fix the Oilers begins at number 10 with moving on from the zone setup.
Wow, so you're just dumping the new look defensively.
And it's number 10 because you can look at it and say, and we ran the tape earlier today. I mean, you get 5 guys on the ice and you're playing like it's a penalty kill, and it'd be easy to say, okay, this isn't working, move on from it. But perhaps also it's a case where they are still learning it. It is early in the season, and to Buddy's suggestion that the schedule gets easier, whatever. Maybe this is just maybe they needed an extra couple of weeks of preseason. They're still learning. I'm not excusing that. But moving away from something before you've kind of learned it, maybe, I don't know, isn't the smart play. So some people might want to move on from the zone setup. Some people might just say, put the nose back down and get learning it quicker. But certainly whatever system they're running out there isn't working. It's number 10 on the list.
Number 9.
Have a fan submission contest for a new defensive structure. I think that would open things up a bit.
There's a lot of people who'd be like, we do this in our rec league, and it's tier 1.
We just had 2 fan submission contests for naming and creating a label for the beer that Alley Cat will be producing, the lager. And that was fun. I think you can come up with a lot of fun ideas. Maybe you find some serious ones in there as well. But look, fans always have an opinion on what the Oilers need to fix. Put it to the fans. Put it to your season ticket holder thing. Hey, wouldn't that be something? They get the first. Season ticket holders can send in their defensive structure, and they actually try to practice
tonight,
once or twice.
Today's practice defense is brought to you by Steve in section 4, row 3.
Larry S. Yeah. And he,
Number 8.
Keep elevating Warren Fogle until you can elevate him no more. Why not? I mean,
37, more like 97.
It's a bright spot. I'll give him his due, and I don't know.
No, it was a nice shot there last night. Yeah, that got people buzzing at Boston Pizza.
It sure as hell did, yeah.
All right, number 7.
Take away the Heritage Classic until this group can prove they deserve it.
Or rebrand it to the Heritage Not So Classic. You guys don't get to play outdoors because you don't deserve to play outdoors.
Move it inside.
Community rink.
We're going into the community rink. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're going to go play at Crestwood. Back in the day, rally gets you back to your roots, right?
Yeah. Well,
number 6.
Petition the NHL to extend the preseason. Some saying it's too long. Maybe this group thinks it's not long enough. And they needed another month or two. Maybe start the season
this season to be like the season actually doesn't start till November 1st.
You put the petition in now. It's worth a shot. I mean, we've seen what happens. You know, teams take advantage of the LTI. Maybe this is a chance for the Oilers to kind of take advantage of a loophole that the NHL doesn't know exists.
Number 5.
Call up Sam Gagner. 2 assists last night.
2 assists last night.
Condors' big win over Henderson.
Maybe you need that. Maybe you need that character in the room.
Well, you know
I got time for Sam Gagner. You know that. Number 4.
Put a ban on national writers and media picking them to win the cup.
Yeah, there's a lot of people this year.
But even years past, it's been one of those things. Oh,
Saravalli jinxed them. Wyshynski jinxed them.
And that's why and again, it's not the reason they're in the spot they are. But Draisaitl talking about getting slapped around, Kane saying they're fine. Like this kind of, we'll keep it in neutral until we really need to shift it into gear. I don't agree with that. Day one, you should be coming out here mad, pissed off, and saying we're going to work each and every day. Not that lackadaisical approach. I know that flies with some people, and I know that's just how some guys naturally carry themselves. But then just don't say anything. Just give me straight. I will be happy with the straight, down the road, boring answers. We're focused. We're working. We're focused. Keep your Stanley Cup predictions. Don't want to hear them.
Number 3.
Call up Raph Lavoie. 2 goals for the Condors last night. The 5-1 win over Henderson.
Tide must have already wrote that.
Well, I mean,
Tide, like our buddy, like
with what happened last night in the big leagues, with what happened in the just gives that extra. So I had to give them their love on the weekly rankings.
Number 2.
Move Bouchard to the press box.
Not going to happen. Nope. Well, I will say this. If they roll out on Thursday and Bouchard is a healthy scratch, I will not rip them for it. I don't care if they end up losing to the Rangers. I honestly think that you need to help people accountable.
You said it within the game, which would have been more of a thing, but Noodles brought it up as well. And if that's
won't do it.
No, they won't do it. But if that's the currency you have as ice time at this point, then that would be the move to I don't know.
They won't do it. I'm not sure I'd have the balls to do it either. But if they do it, I will say hell of a move. Hell of a decision. All right, number 1.
The number 1 in the top 10 ways to currently fix the Edmonton Oilers have Eva Gazzola and Hernan Salas on a Friday and Saturday seminar leading into the Heritage Classic where they locked the team in a hotel conference room, getting back to basics and preaching a give a damn. You get 2 bathroom breaks during the 2 days, right? Like a little bad coffee. They got terrible food, and it's just like it's this grueling 48 hours locked in some hotel conference room.
I had no idea that Tommy's wonderful little mom with her great little accent was so hard on Bouchard. My God, last night I almost had to sit down and say, "Look,
knives out.
We got to calm down here a little bit. You're starting to embarrass the city." Like,
and you couldn't even talk. You had to get a member of the staff at BP's.
Yeah, and then Hernan with an all-time quote last night. I have so much hate in my heart right now. And once again, it all comes back around to guys who make predictions. We're going to get to one of them right away. But Lieutenant Eric's Weekly Rankings of Power, brought to you by United Sport and Cycle, where the Breakaway Hockey Sale is. What a great name for a hockey sale. The Breakaway Hockey Sale. On now. Save up to 35% off on hockey gear up until November 1st. And they got good deals pretty much year-round there as well. All right, let's get to Greg Wyshynski, brought to you by Metal Supermarkets, your convenience stores for metal. Any metal, cut to size, ready fast. You need something today? Go there this morning, boom, cut it. You do your project, done by this afternoon. And why was it so easy? Because you went to the convenience store for Metal Supermarkets. Let's bring in Greg Wyshynski today, the guy who put the ultimate jinx on the Oilers season when I gave him a chance to dial back his cup prediction last week, and he said no. And now here we are, Mr. Wyshynski. Nice going.
Well, I didn't say what cup. It could still be the Calder Cup. It could be another. Is there a guy named Cup in the draft? Maybe I was referring to him, like Cooper Cup's, like cousin of the hockey player. Look, man, they suck right now, and it's sad to see it. I was really hoping we might get a little bit of Ewing theory last night with Connor out, where they all rally around the fact that they can't rely on him to bail them out. But that only held true for like 2 periods. I tweeted a stat this morning. It's one of the more ridiculous things I've seen, I think, this season, which is that the Oilers are 11th in the league in preventing high danger scoring shot attempts. Okay. They are 32nd in the league in high danger save percentage. Skinner and Campbell have combined for a high danger save percentage of what I believe is 609, and they're the only team under 700 in high danger save percentage right now, which just tells you that even if the Oilers, and it's mid, but it's not terrible, even if the Oilers are doing okay defensively, you're getting absolutely no help from their goaltenders at this point, and it's just sort of short-circuiting everything. And we've seen it before from them, this scenario.
Yeah, I would think that, like, obviously those numbers are accurate. Jack Campbell was absolutely brilliant in the second period last night because the Minnesota Wild had open look after open look after open look, and then eventually, they just continued to fall apart into the third period. So there's a lot of different places to kind of point blame to right now, Greg. But at the same time, like, we sit here and it is just 6 games into a pretty long season, but the things that are popping up with this group right now just seem to be very concerning. Like, Evan Bouchard last night just was not engaged physically, was basically to blame for 4 goals against last night. And not held to account. Like, they just kept running him back out there. They didn't like take any ice time away. There's no way. Jamie McLennan was on today and said, like, the only way you can hold NHL players accountable in 2023 is to take some of their ice time away from them. Even Jay Woodcraft looked like a couple weeks ago, he was swearing. Like last week, he was swearing.
Noodles said he had scramble face.
Yeah, scramble face. Like, and they cut to a shot of him one time. You're like, look at Jay's face. Like, he has no idea what's going on here right now. Like, how concerned should this city actually be that the Edmonton Oilers aren't anything near what we were expecting them to be? Or is it still, at this point, too soon?
It's too soon, but it's also like, I wish we had a better sense of the plan here. It's like, you can get off to a bad start if it's under the auspices of we are doing things with our team, we are doing things with our system in service of being a better team in the playoffs. Like, this was a situation a few years ago with the Tampa Bay Lightning where they got, upset in the first round by the Blue Jackets. They came back. They had this incredible regular season. And then their results after that were a little more middling in the regular season because John Cooper would say, hey, look, we're trying to change things that went wrong last time. And there's going to be some deleterious results in the regular season because of it. In the Oilers case, like, they're just playing bad hockey. And like, there seems to be regression in some cases, like regression in Bouchard, which is a disturbing thing because he's basically been handed the keys to the kingdom on the blue line. Regression from the supporting cast that you could usually rely on a little bit more, if someone like Connor's out of the lineup. Like, and obviously, like, the goalies have good games and fits and spurts, but it's not consistent. And then that undercuts everything. So I think that's the most disturbing part of this right now is that, like, well, I don't think if you can, ring the death knell to this team or like completely freak out or count them out after 6 games. Like, there's just certain things that should be going fine that we kind of check the box on for this team that all of a sudden have become points of concern.
How often, and you cover the league for a long time, how often do you see a defenseman change his stripes along the way? Like Bouchard, and Noodles made a good point this morning too when he said, his calmness level in the offensive zone is really good. Like, it's good to be calm with the puck when you're in the offensive zone, but his lack of urgency in the defensive zone or his lack of wanting to get involved physically in the defensive zone is really, you're not only hurting him, but their team right now. Somebody else texted in today and said, he's basically Mike Green. You play him on the third pair, you put him on the power play, and you shelter him every chance that you can. And I mean, I can't go back to Mike Green's prime and have it off the top of my head to know if that's kind of how it was. But is this just who Bouchard is, Greg, or do you think there's a way to get him to be more engaged and urgent in the defensive zone?
Like, I covered Mike Green.
Yeah, you did in Washington, right? Like, yeah.
Yeah, and he certainly wasn't a third liner who just played on the power play, or third pairing guy. Like, he's he should have won a Norris, and the reason he should have won a Norris is because he put up outstanding offensive numbers while doing something that today is kind of taken for granted, which is possessing the hell out of the puck. Yeah. So you didn't have to worry about his deficiencies in the defensive end. Like, he was the first sort of analytics test in hockey during the boom of the blog era, because you had people saying this guy sucks, he's a turnstile in the defensive zone. And then you had a lot of people being like, well, actually, he's great, because they're never in the defensive zone when he's on the ice. So that's one way Bouchard can compensate for defensive shortcomings. But you talked about changing his stripes. Like, you can't make a non-physical player physical. It just can't happen. Like, it's either in your DNA or it's not. If it's not in his game to be a physical defenseman, that's just not going to change. What can change, though, is a young defenseman learning how to play smarter in his own end, and learning how to be better positionally, and learning how to use space and time, and how to take that away from other defenders, using the same skills that you have offensively, but applying it to your defensive game. So if there are Oilers fans hoping that, Evan Bouchard is going to all of a sudden morph into Ulf Samuelsson, like, it's not going to happen. Okay. But it could certainly happen where he's playing more like a Cale Makar or those types of players that have learned to use their speed and their hands and their stick to become more accomplished defensive players than obviously he is now.
ESPN's Greg Wyshynski with us on the show this morning. Nielson Show, EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Greg, just switching gears a bit, wanted to get your thoughts on the overall theme of yesterday. Of course, the Frozen Frenzy, and you guys, ESPN, of course, south of our border here. I know a lot of Canadians complaining, I didn't get to see some of the games, and from our broadcast perspective here. But what was jumping off the page from you yesterday? I know we talk kind of about the Oilers, and, is it too early? Yeah, maybe. Is it too early for the Golden Knights, the Avalanche, or the Bruins as well? What kind of jumped off the page for you yesterday, and how did you enjoy your day for the Frozen Frenzy?
Well, it was awesome. I mean, I didn't have to do anything, which is really the best thing that you can have. But I was really proud of the network. I'd had discussions with people for years internally about trying to pull something like this off. One of my dreams is that the first day of the playoffs can be like the first day of March Madness here in the States.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Where everybody cuts work and goes to the bar and is just watching basketball all day. Like, that'd be amazing to be able to do that for the first day of the playoffs. And that may or may not ever happen because of playoff games starting at noon. But yesterday was as good a glimpse of what that could look like as anything. Where you have these staggered start times. You have a very rare thing in society today, which is a shared experience where a lot of hockey fans are just consuming this thing together and talking about it on social media. And I'll give a shout out to John Bouchard and Kevin Weeks, my colleagues, because I think to do what they did, which is basically start at 7 o'clock and go on until about 12:30 a.m. Eastern time, and just constantly have something to talk about during these games, and having to know the entirety of the league pretty well in order to do it, I thought was a really impressive feat by those two, who, having talked to both of them, I know talking is not the issue. it's finding something to say about all these games is the issue. But to get to your point about what really stood out for me last night, again, I'm from New Jersey. I'm very cynical. So congrats to the Knights and the Lanch and the Bruins. I'm happy you're off to a good start. I'm more concerned about a team like Ottawa, which is all of a sudden, after coming into the season looking promising, maybe going to get dusted by Detroit and Buffalo pretty quick out of the gate, in that race to see which team emerges from the pack to maybe get a playoff spot in the Atlantic. They're not playing well. They're very mid. They are getting some decent offensive results at 5-on-5, but they're not winning hockey games. And, I think DJ Smith's name has been at the top of who's going to get fired lists probably for the last 2 seasons. I think it becomes a lot more of an interesting conversation when you have higher expectations and a new owner. And so I do wonder what the hook's going to look like and how quick it'll come if this Ottawa team doesn't improve in the first 20 games of the season.
You mentioned you covered the Capitals for a long time, Greg. I wasn't expecting much from them, but they have one win. Ovi finally scored last night. There's no bounce back coming here for the Caps after last season? Is this just who this aging group is now?
Yeah, I mean, it's It's like a moth-covered blanket in your closet that you bring out to feel comfort. Because, like, they had an opportunity to rebuild the team around Ovechkin in short order. They had a ton of cap space coming free last offseason. But instead, like, if you named all the guys that were going to go UFA last summer, they probably re-signed about 80% of them. And so, like, they're an old team already with committing long-term contracts to the guys that have been there for a long time, like Carlson and Backstrom and players like that. And then they re-sign a lot of the supporting cast that was there for a team that wasn't successful to begin with. Look, the best thing that could happen to the Capitals is being terrible this season, because that means you might get yourself a top pick in a very loaded draft, which means that you can at least get somebody that you can start looking towards the future with. Because as of right now, the sole existence of this franchise is to give Alex Ovechkin a place to skate, score goals, and try to break Gretzky's record. Because it certainly isn't to compete for a Stanley Cup, as much as Ovechkin put that as a priority in his re-signing with the team. Otherwise, they would have more dramatically reshaped this roster, and they're as bad as I expected them to be.
Real quickly before I let you go, just back to the Frozen Frenzy thing. One of the things we were talking about leading into it yesterday is you try to attempt this red zone style, and the sport just doesn't line up the way the National Football League does nicely. Team enters the red zone. You can go there for 5 or 6 plays, see how it goes. Oh, another team in the red zone. How did the sport work with what you guys were trying to do yesterday at ESPN? I'm very curious to hear how that went.
Well, it worked okay in the sense that, like, you had to sort of suspend disbelief in the idea that you're dipping into games and not knowing what's going to happen, although we are clearly dipping into a game knowing that a goal was scored. And so, like, you had a lot of these moments where Bouchard is talking about a game and talking about a score, and then a second later, now it's 4-3, and so there's a little bit of that time delay. We're dipping in to show you what has happened, and it's a little bit different when it's hockey than it's football. Like, there's a little bit of a difference there. But as far as the dipping into different games part of it, like, I actually thought that went better than I expected. I mean, like, you don't realize how many events are in a hockey game until something like last night happens, where there's a lot of power plays, there's a lot of coaching challenges, and there's a lot of end game situations you can bounce to watch the last 2 minutes of a close game. We didn't get a shootout, I don't think, last night at all. But if that had happened, you'd have that too. So I saw some people grumbling about how hockey may not necessarily fit this type of format. I disagree. I think it does. At the end of the day, like, for me as a fan watching last night, it was less about keeping track of 16 games than it was getting Kevin Weeks likes to use the word buffet, and I think that's a good description. Getting a buffet of 32 teams and checking in and seeing where they are and seeing what's going on and getting a chance to see highlights that I might not necessarily otherwise see. So from that aspect, I thought it was really successful.
As always, buddy, really appreciate it, man. What do you got coming up at ESPN over the next little while?
Got a cool story tomorrow about the Flyers and, like, how in a very crowded sports market in Philadelphia, when all of a sudden you're in a rebuild, how do you sell that to your fans? It's kind of a cool behind-the-scenes story about what happens when you go from a team promising to contend for a cup every season to one being like, okay, we're going to be honest, we stink. So, so I think it's an interesting kind of, like, off the ice story.
Excellent, buddy. Appreciate it, man. We'll chat next week.
Thanks, man.
There you go. That is Greg Wyshynski. Does a great job with ESPN, and as always, brought to you by our great partners at Metal Supermarkets, your convenience stores for... Oh, that sounds good. That sounds real nice.
I love that clip.
It's good.
I love that clip.
Yeah,
it's just in and out, dude.
It's good. Any metal you need, cut to size quickly. They get it done for you at Metal Supermarkets. Interesting time for the Oilers. If the Rangers, that's a tough game.
No, I know. Why isn't anybody saying that? Like, I just feel like I'm kind of sitting here alone.
You could be rolling in to the Heritage Classic 1-5-1.
But if you lose, say they lose tomorrow, you just want to see better, right? If you see better, I think you could stomach a loss tomorrow.
No, I don't think so,
given the way this team is playing.
I don't think so.
The way this team is playing compared to how the Rangers are playing right now, like, I don't... You expecting a win? I'm not.
No, I'm not expecting a win, but even if they play well and they still lose, They're
I'm not saying
if they were 4-1 and played well and lost, then I get it.
Yeah.
But you have one win right now. You go ahead, play well. It doesn't mean anything if you can't get the dub. We are about 13 likes away from hitting 200 for the first time. So let's smash that bad boy. Let's get that thing done right now. Get that taken care of. Thank you very much. Lots of good text messages today. Trying to sort through. Hello, fellows. He didn't say fellas, fellows. Hello, fellows.
Good day.
I never gave it a thought until that dude brought it up the other day, but I'd like to change my inbox pounding handle. Rather than the boring Nick and Charlatan, I chose myself. I'll go with a nickname recently given to me by my bro. Thanks. Yours truly, signed, Uncle Rat Tail.
And he has been anointed.
Did you put him in?
Henceforth,
you put him
he
in?
will be known as Uncle Rat Tail. He still wasn't in there as Nick and Charlottetown either way, but
yeah, I was gonna say
you are now Uncle Rat Tail.
Did you already do it, or should I?
No,
do
it's
it? Okay, I was gonna say
it
right there. Yeah. What does this mean? 2 minutes? Are you counting us out right now?
20
minutes.
2-0. 2 words. First word.
2 words. First word. Fist closed.
Egg.
2-0.
0. Oh, we hit it.
Oh,
we
200 likes.
Ah, we hit it.
Okay, yeah. Man, how did we not catch on with it? Why didn't you just turn on your mic and tell us, Manny?
That was a fun game.
That was a fun game. Hey, when were we going to do sports charades? We did that a couple weeks ago. Yeah. Okay, here, I'll do another one. I'll do another one right now. All right. Guess who I am.
It's a player or a
person?
It's a person. First word? Yeah.
Be as descriptive as possible.
Pardon me?
What?
Be as descriptive as possible.
Oh, yeah, because everybody listening. Yeah.
Because we do have people
we know
listening.
That stuff.
Yeah,
well, Eric will be very descriptive.
Okay. So you're going to...
Here I am.
Yes, here you are.
Okay.
Yes, so 2 words. Yes, 2 words. First word, 2 words. 2? Oh, it's a 2.
Second word.
You're not allowed to speak.
Mooing. He's boo. Boo. Okay. That's the second word. Boo. First word, you're pointing. Point. Phone. Cell phone. Pointing. Pen. Pointing. You're
Evan Bouchard. I'm Evan Bouchard.
Evan Bouchard.
Last name's Boo. And then I was just sitting around doing nothing.
That is
I was just kind of like...
His last name isn't Boo.
I bet somebody got it.
I was
that
lost.
Was awful.
See, yeah, Joel
Sailing down the river.
Balaneski says I was Bouchard. See, that's on you guys. That's not on me. I was sitting
Bouchard?
around, literally just holding my stick out doing this. That's what Bouchard does.
But I thought that was the first word.
No.
So I was going for
I tried to help you with the second word. I gave you the Boo clue.
Yes.
Yeah,
boo.
but that's 2 different words.
I know.
What's the word?
You said 2 words. It's not my fault. You guys can't figure out charades.
You said 2 words.
Man, my
second word was
Evan Bouchard.
Second word was Boo.
No. It was
he
a
said
hint.
Boo.
It was a hint on it.
Boo. Yes. Second word. And then.
Nah, disagree.
That was really.
I thought that was. I love sports charades. Try to come up with another one tomorrow. Let's remember.
Confusing as his own defense.
Sports charades brought to you by Jubilation Dinner Theater. Hey, does anybody know the folks at these dinner theaters in town?
That's a relationship.
Let's get that locked in. I want that.
Yeah.
As a top grade 8 drama student, I shared it with a guy who eventually murdered somebody. So I definitely came out on top in that one.
One night a year, we could take sports charades to the, we could do it live there.
Sports charades show. That's pretty good, actually.
People could see what we deal with.
All right, let's get into the wrap for William Huff. If you want your place to look as good as ours, hire Tube Sucks to design your logos, or have him do them for free because he's great, and then go to William Huff and get things wrapped up. And this place looks it makes us look very professional. I think. Imagine if we were just sitting here. I remember when we first started posting videos and we didn't have anything done yet. People were like, man, you guys got to make the studio look a little bit better. I was like, come on. We're in the process of actually setting it up. What are we doing here? Visit them at WilliamHuff.com. They've been wrapping the city since 1972. And if they do enough business, if they do $100 million in sales one year in honor of wrapping things, Bruce over at William Huff will release a rap single. And we'll play it right here on the show. That'd be great. Think you would do that? Bruce, I don't know if you're listening. Text me. Can we get you to do a little rapping?
This one's called Pro-Am Thongs or something. We're kind of, everybody's kind of getting in on this one, eh?
We already got the beats, don't we? Where's that?
Oh, yeah. No, this is your home for pop music,
rap?
man.
Where's hip-hop?
Rap,
Here we go.
EDM.
The Nielson Show featuring Lieutenant Eric.
That's one, but you're
Only
looking
on
for that
Edmonton
real
Sports
good
Talk.
one.
Yeah, I like this beat, though.
Yeah. You like the beat.
Right here, you just go. Go to William Huff. They'll rap your stuff.
Featuring Mr. Lee.
Yeah, Mr. Lee's just in the background.
One verse, lays it down, you know.
All right, what'd you learn on the show today, buddy?
What did we learn on the show today? We learned a lot. What was the, man? I mean, look, coming out of a night that it was last night and just people's ways to fix the team, I guess we learned a lot of that. Jamie McLennan brought back the dog park defense.
That was good.
It's an off-leash dog park right now, is it not? Maybe that's it. You have dogs running around every which nobody knows what's happening. But you could have learned from the weekly rankings of power, I guess, my 10-step program into how you fix the Oilers today.
Which was headlined by Tommy's mom and Hernan Salas holding a seminar.
Yes. We also learned that one of the quotes from last night's game, one of the more heart-heavy quotes, was from
Hernan Salas.
He was there last night.
I have so much hate in my heart right now. Tommy's out there on the couch laughing. Hernan was full Hernan last night. My God, I cannot wait. He'll
Years
be
off his
hopefully
life.
on the hangout next week, and that'll be worth checking out for sure. All right, let's go to your sound of the day. You know what? Let's just throw this one back out there because we debuted it on the new show today. It goes back to the old place, the Bad Morning After Show song. All right, this hits home today. This is what they get.
Being a fan of the Oilers today takes everything you got.
William Huff.
Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to have your say?
EM Utility located.
It's a morning after show where we will talk about the game and let you know who you should blame.
Bouchard.
You want a show where you will know if the problems are still the same. You want a show every morning after the game. You want a show so people know if the problems are still the same. You want a show every morning after the game.
Ooh, that's how you wrap up a morning after show of a debacle like the one that we saw last night.
Thank you again to EM Utility Locating for hopping on the morning after show, and Matt meeting him last night. Great guy, great dude,
right?
Big fan of the show,
Yeah.
and it's nice you got the music back now. We had a hell of a game to break down, so a good
If you need
debut.
anything scanned underground, EM Utility Locating is your team to do it. Unless you got bodies buried somewhere, don't call them in because they'll find you.
And H.E. Pennypacker, I think, and I'm sure we'll get to text of the day, but he had one early on.
Yeah,
involving them.
that was really good. That's how nice that
I don't know if we got anything better.
You know, I do have a dream about, like, it's a reoccurring dream that pops up that I did murder somebody and I buried them under a hot tub at my great grandpa's old house. I'll have this dream every once in a while. I'm like, people are going to find out that I murdered this person because they're digging up underneath. And now that EM Utility Locators are on the case, like, it concerns me even more.
In Coronation Street right now, they actually uncovered a buried body at a construction site.
Really?
And the guy that killed the guy is looking to get out of the country with his new wife. So the race is on to identify the body, do the DNA testing.
So you know who the murderer is?
Yeah, we all know.
Oh.
But he's trying to leave the country with this new squeeze, and now they found the body in this new construction site, and, you know, it's kind of, they had the hand coming out of the earth, and so now all the construction's on pause. The cops are involved. You know, the old bill is what they call it out there, and now this guy's trying to leave the country. So I find it very odd that you're having these dreams of killing somebody.
Is he a regular character?
Yeah, he's a Canadian as well.
What?
Yeah. So he
On
talks
Coronation Street.
like us. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But that's probably why they made him the murderer.
Yeah. Shifty Canadian.
That's crazy.
It's funny that EMI, the whole burying of the bodies seemed to have taken an unusual theme today.
I mean, I didn't know this was but we're going to be outing murderers all across the city.
Is it something
with EM Utility and dead body located?
Hot tubs and you too seem to have a relationship.
Yeah.
Like
Well, it's probably because I sit in hot
You're
tubs
always
so
in one.
long, I never know if I'll be able to get out of them. Yeah, that's what it is.
Maybe
hot tub
universe
monster.
is telling you something here.
All right, let's get to the text
Avoid
of
the
the
hot tub.
day for A&W. $20 gift card. Great partners over at A&W. Check out the Crunchtastic sandwiches available at their drive-thrus. Most of those drive-thrus open 24 hours. For those who aren't open 24 hours, stop being lazy. Let's get them all open 24 hours.
We call those the Bouchard drive-thrus.
H.E. Pennypacker has your text of the day today. Congratulations, buddy. You're going to get some A&W. I also don't mind that chicken breakfast sandwich they have, the spicy one. Delish. If you're digging a hole like the Oilers, call EM Utility Locating. There appears to be a body moving. No, that's just Bouchard. Don't worry about it. He's just sitting around right now. They got to get that sorted out for sure.
Join me.
All right, what's coming up on the Hangout today, Maddie? What's happening here? Radio. And by the way, make sure you turn autoplay on. It'll take you right over to the Hangout. I think we got a fun one today. What's going on here?
Traveling Yoggers are supposed to be here.
Okay. They're on their way. Wait, did you book them, Tommy?
No.
And they're going to be a little late? Classic. Somebody came at me today and I said, Dusty, you're yelling at Woodcraft for not holding Bouchard accountable, yet Tommy rolls in late every single day and I don't do anything about it. So that'll be fun chat, though. Not all of them, right? Isn't there like 8?
Yeah, no, yeah, 2 of them.
I want them all parading into the room, yeah.
Just like the clown car.
Do they come in the Yager stuff? Yeah. Oh, beautiful. So are they going to be like in full-blown character?
Yeah.
Or are you guys going to...
They speak
Are they just normal people? Or are they doing Yager accents? And do you have to call them Yami? Right? Yami Yaga? All right, so the Hangout's coming up right away at 9 o'clock. I'll be back with the Lock Shop. Huss and I are trying to knock out more winners. I mean, that's our whole existence on the Lock Shop, trying to deliver some dubs for you. Oil Stream today, that'll be a good one, as they are a train wreck. We'll get into that at noon today, myself and Tommy Gazzola. That's going to do it for us. Tell your friends about the show. Thanks for all those thumbs up today. Very much appreciated. And, hey, live with us now. We're going to give you that great content every single morning. Nielson Show uninterrupted from 6 to 9 every single day. Merch store is open. Had some people last night at Boston Pizza ask about the merch store. Just go to edmontonsportsuck.com, click on EST Shop, and you can go in there, place your orders, shirts, hoodies, hats, mugs, toques, basically anything you need to wear and outside of pants. But
in
like
a multitude of
pants.
colors.
Yeah. Yeah, and all Nasty Clubbers, post show on the way over inside the Nasty Club as well. For Mr. Lean, Maddie Awanek, and Lieutenant Eric, I'm Dustin Nielson. Tell your friends about the show. Have a great day and take it easy.